Well, gentlemen, we watched, we came, we saw. That's right. Today, welcome back to Uninformed Movie Reviews. It's me, Danny Two Hands, here at the round table of chicanery, back at it. And we're watching, I'm sawed out, fellas. We're talking about the Saw movie ranking. We watched all 9 films, including the newest, Spiral.
Yep.
And we're here to give you the definitive Uninformed Movie Reviews list of what's the best, and you can't say nothing else.
You know what? For a second, too, I thought we were going to have to do 10, because in my mind, I was like, because then there's Saw 7, and then 3D,
exactly.
right? Which one's the 3D one?
The 3D one throws it all off.
I was expecting 3D to be part 3.
Yeah.
As one does.
That's how you do it.
Oops.
Well, that's right. Okay, so we're here. We're going to talk about, we got a new format going on these movie rankings that old David Pena is going to be pushing us through.
Yeah.
And
David
I'm very
the Pusher
excited.
Pena.
Yep.
Because at some point, all these movies kind of blend together. They're kind of the same thing over and over.
They really are.
And even more so than, like, say, Tremors, which is like a series that kind of dilutes over time. And this is kind of the same instance, right? Where, like, the original movie is obviously the best.
I mean, are we sure about that?
Oh, okay.
I guess we'll find out.
Well, I'm going to give it to old Peen here as he moves us through his.
That's so sweet of you. That's so sweet of you to include me first. So typically in one of these... Oh.
Bang, bang.
Typically in one of these...
Give me a bang.
You know what? It was the wrong button, but now it feels like the right one.
That
Totally
was
appropriate.
That was a fail on a lot of stuff. But I loved it.
I was trying to get my Face ID to open my notes here.
Okay, so typically on a ranking episode, we would go in order of release. And in a way, we're still doing that. No, we didn't do it in order of release. We would go for worst to best.
Yes.
And then duke it out.
Mm-hmm. Duke.
Worst being the one you don't like.
Yeah. Worst being the one you don't, being the one you like the least. Yeah. But as Danny was saying, I had to take such diligent notes this time around because even by the 5th movie, I couldn't remember what events happened in what. I found myself going back through my notes to confirm that this happened in a certain movie. So we are going in release order today. That's where I got mixed up earlier.
Yeah, we watched a few of these together, David, and you definitely look like Detective Tapp at a few moments.
Yeah, I was just in there, you know what I mean? I had a little light on my desk. I was hunched over.
You're like, I'm getting too old for this.
I was like halfway through the pack of cigarettes, like, okay,
bandages
give me more,
all over your throat.
Yeah. Anyway, so first up we have Saw from 2004, directed by James Wan of Saw fame, really. I mean, but goes on from here is like a launch pad.
The OG.
Yeah, and has become maybe the most important horror director of our lifetime, whether you like it or not.
I mean, this might be one of the most important horror films of our lifetime.
Yeah, for
whether
reals.
you want to admit it or not.
Yes, exactly. So, controversial thing here, guys. I'm going to say that I have Saw 1 ranked in the first spot.
Me too.
Yeah, pretty easy choice here. I mean, the first one's just kind of groundbreaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is very much its own thing. Never seen that before, ever.
Well, and this is unlike other series rankings we've done because it literally lays out the template pretty much for all of these movies, which they copy almost to a T.
Except for, curiously, Spiral.
Yeah, exactly.
So Saw 1, well, before we get into I do have a small synopsis for you before we hit the good old numbers.
In case you don't know what the movie we were talking about and the series we are talking about is today.
And somehow still decided to listen to this episode.
I also got to say, like, these movies are filled with twists and reveals and retcons, so... if you're not down to get spoiled, this isn't the episode for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, if you haven't gone in yet, because we're going to talk some crap about some of these movies, like I can only assume. But that being said, I am a Saw, like I'm a proponent. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I am pro Saw.
Yeah,
watch all of them.
I will say this, though. I bet if you have never seen Saw, you listen to this whole podcast, by the time you start watching the movies, you will forget what's happened.
Mm-hmm. Yep. By the 4th one.
Yeah, because it's convoluted. It's not going to spoil anything.
I'd say by the 5th one.
Even in 3, I was like, what happened?
yeah.
Okay, anyways. So Saw 1 is a simple story. It's 2 men are locked in a bathroom, chained to different pipes. They can't escape. Except for the looming saw in the room. You never have a saw on the wall in Act 1 that doesn't get used to chop someone's leg off in Act 3.
That is
and
a
just
cinematic
visually
rule.
know that this room is just covered in poop. There's poopies everywhere.
Oh, disgusting bathroom. And the grime, it sets up the aesthetic immediately.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be happening.
It's one of those movies that just throws you into the plot right away.
Oh, yeah. It's cold opens. They love the cold open in Saw movies. But, so we have this storyline running, which is going to be frequent in these movies. We have a trap or victim, contestant. I don't know what you want to call it. We have that storyline running, and adjacent to it, we have
Contestant. I'm sorry.
we have Daniel Glover playing Detective Tapp with Singh, his partner, as they try and find the Jigsaw killer. Who could it be? Who is this person? Are we going to meet him at the end of the movie? Probably. Give us the numbers, Frank.
All right. Saw premiered in 2004. It's got a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes with its 103-minute runtime.
That's surprisingly low.
Speaking of low, it was made on a budget of $1.2 million. Had an opening weekend of $18,276,468, which is how we got the rest of these 8 films.
Yeah.
And a worldwide gross of $103,911,669 US American dollars.
That's insane. I mean, this is one of the classic examples of like working within your budget and then just, excelling filmmaking.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's also, this happens in horror movies all the time. People come up with a pretty original idea. It's super cheap to do it. And then they make buckets of cash and they're like, give us another 7 Paranormal Activity.
Looking at you, Paranormal Activity. That's right.
I saw this clip recently of Quentin Tarantino talking to some like college campus or something. And he's telling them like, the biggest piece of advice I could give you is figure out the movie we haven't seen before and then make that movie. And that's totally what they did on Saw. But then they also just like did it 8 more times.
I mean,
7 more times.
It's easy money at that point. Why wouldn't they? Guys, I just looked it up and I should have thought this from watching it, but there are 4 people in this movie. The cast is 4 people.
Well, there's more than 4 people.
Sure.
But I think the core credit, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's like extras.
There's extras.
But even then, I think there's more than 4 characters.
Yeah, because there's like really small characters who will get bigger as time goes on.
Oh, that's another thing about
like
Saw.
the lady from Starship Troopers.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, she's in this movie.
This is also the launching point for Mr. Like we said, James Wan and Lee Winnell.
Yes.
Who is an awesome filmmaker. You may know him from the Conjuring universe and, pretty much every Insidious movie. And
he's writing something new. What's that new thing that
also
that
made
just came
Upgrade,
out?
which I don't know if you guys ever watched Upgrade.
No, I haven't.
Now, are you referring to the pimp from Idiocracy?
Is his name Upgrade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With a Y.
Okay. No, you should watch Upgrade. It's real good, real bloody. Lee Winnell's real good at that gory stuff. But, arguably this is the launch of their campaign, their career. And they do go different directions. They kind of work together here and there when they can. But, Lee Winnell is the star of this movie also, which is just crazy.
Better writer than actor.
Oh,
yeah.
I will say that.
Okay, I'll be honest. You're talking about Adam, right? The character Adam. I didn't look it up. I didn't realize that was Lee Winnell. That's so interesting.
Or David. David is the Lee Winnell.
David is Lee Winnell.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are David.
I'm David.
I am Lee Winnell.
Wait, hang on. Now I'm confused. Who's David in the first Saw movie?
I think you're talking about Adam, my man.
Oh, Adam. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know how I screwed that
You
up.
were thinking Adam, but you were looking at David, so your
you
brain
said
was
David.
like, David.
I was like, okay, wait a second though. I don't. Yeah, because we have Dr. Gordon, who's going to come back, of course, and Adam. They're the guys chained up in this room.
Yeah.
And this one's...
And then somebody.
This one's super simple. It's just like there's not anything too convoluted. as far as plot goes. You get the big twist at the end. I thought it was interesting. There's like several lost cast members in this movie, especially the guy who's like the red herring Jigsaw.
Which is almost like a foreshadow as to like how convoluted and crazy the plot's going to get as we go along through the series.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I got to say, the big reveal at the end that the dead man in the room was Jigsaw the whole time. I'm not totally on board with this reveal. I just feel like, why though?
It didn't need to be there.
Just because he gets off on that kind of stuff.
But it just seems so against his character, which we're not... I mean, it gets worse as the movies go along.
Oh, yeah.
But Jigsaw's got to be one of the most inconsistent, like, for someone who's diehard about his morals, completely inconsistent about what is acceptable.
But you know what? I will say it makes a sense for his character just a little bit because he does like being a little snarky troll.
Yeah.
Like in, what is it? In 2... when he kidnaps the detective's son.
Oh, yeah.
And he calls his phone. He already like replaced his voicemail with like, sorry, you can't come to the phone right now.
Yeah,
like he loves being a troll.
That is a good move.
He did it just to be like, haha, I was in here the whole time, you idiots.
You know what? You're right. He's got some things along with like Jason. He's like a showman.
Yeah. And as far as like where it goes, like you guys were saying, it's like, this is also the template where like, you'll see like a picture on the wall and they'll reference that in like Saw 5 and tell you like how that was a big part of Jigsaw's plan too.
Well, you know, something I wanted to complain about, and I've seen these all before, but you know, I'm definitely fuzzy on the details. In the beginning of the movie, when Adam is waking up in the bathtub that's filled with water, which was confusing. I was like, how is he alive?
Yeah.
So he's like, you know, startled awake, and you see a key float down the drain.
That's right.
And we learned that key would have like set them free. And then I'm like, well, Jigsaw, you did kill that guy. There was no way he could have grabbed that key. Like that game's not winnable. And he even gets mad at people later in movies about making winnable games. But then it's revealed that a bunch of these traps are not by Jigsaw in this first movie.
And it's what I was going to say. Like these aren't even his first traps.
Yeah. And
this isn't
not even his first trap.
Yeah.
So the series constantly is moving things aside. But I think it's definitely the strongest movie. I agree with Frank, though. The biggest thing is the performance. Especially if Lee Winnell is Adam, that makes so much more sense now. Because a lot of the other performers are really solid.
Yeah.
But him in particular...
It's like really bad.
Really bad.
Like when he does the fake death, I almost feel like they're poking fun at him for like being a bad actor. Like, let's see how bad you can act.
They didn't even tell him to ham it up. That's just like what they got.
That's just how he thinks it looks like when a person dies.
They're like, perfect. This is exactly what we need. Okay, so I have a list I want to go through before we hit the next movie. There's the people who are going to be coming back in further movies, which in this movie is really just Amanda and Carrie.
Yeah.
And Jigsaw, of course. I think Tap is shown in a flashback, but he doesn't come back for anything new. And then Detective Singh, who's one of our other cops, gets his head blown up by some shotguns on a tripwire. That's also killing someone, Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Like setting up a tripwire that has shotguns is going to blow your head off.
You can't win out of that one.
No. If you went to court, you'd be convicted for murder.
Charlie Manson went to prison for less than that.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, I also have a list of the traps in the movie.
You're forgetting one character who comes back, David.
Wait, who am I forgetting?
One Dr. Gordon.
Oh, Dr. Gordon.
Man.
Of course.
Spoiler.
Of course. I had him at a different part of the list.
Is the SWAT leader in the first one?
No, he's not. You're talking about...
He doesn't come back till the second.
Riggs. Yeah, he's not in yet. Which would have been funny with Tap if there was a guy named Rigg in the movie.
There is another recurring character.
Ooh, who did I miss?
Who is honestly my favorite throughout the entire series, and that is the soundtrack from Charlie Clouser from 9 Inch Nails.
And if we're including him, then we got to include Billy the Puppet.
Yeah, we got to include Billy the Puppet.
Billy the Puppet. But he does change.
He does
quite a bit.
Which is a little frustrating.
And if we are going to include all that, we have to include the you wouldn't steal a car editing. That's what I wrote. That's what I wrote in my notes. You wouldn't steal a car.
With the text just flying all over the place.
Yes, dude.
Stealing movies isn't a victimless crime.
It's God, I hate that editing.
That's it's really it hasn't dated.
I feel really bad for anyone that
aged
like
well.
probably has triggered epilepsy.
I mean, in the
From this,
first one though, they're using it to get around like their super low budget
Sure.
and like lack of camera angles and stuff.
and it was arguably fresh.
Yeah.
In that cut.
Yeah, and then
That's when that cut was hot too.
we'll come back to this later. I don't need to bring this up now. Okay, so here's your list of traps. We have the original Saw bathroom.
Yeah.
2 men in chains. You got to saw through the leg, or you're both gonna die.
Saw.
And we even learned that it's he's got to kill the other guy. Like there's more to this trap. We have the razor wire box, and this is shown. It's like a man had to crawl through, a cage full of razor wire. He didn't live.
You like cutting yourself, so now cut yourself a bunch.
Yeah. We have the bear claw head trap. I wasn't sure what to call this thing. I'm sure it has a real name.
The
reverse bear trap.
Is that what it's called?
Thing?
Reverse bear trap.
like a reverse bear trap.
That's what he says. Yeah.
Every time.
This is like almost a character. This trap.
Yeah.
It shows up so many times in these movies. And this is Amanda in the first one, right? This is her.
Someone
who's in
argued the
trap.
unofficial logo.
And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
definitely.
the character's last name is Hug and Kiss.
Yes, true.
The piggy.
Then we have the 2 drills on a timer going into the neck, like a
yeah.
Frankenstein kind of thing going on here. And then we also have the candle and petroleum jelly, Vaseline, something very flammable.
Yeah, it was some weird kind of flammable jelly.
This guy had to carry around and read the code to unlock the safe, but he's covered in this goop and it's flammable. He doesn't last very long.
And the floor is like covered in broken glass.
Oh, yeah.
Walking on broken glass.
Some of these seem way easier than others. Like, for instance, the bear claw head trap, reverse bear trap, whatever you want to call it, is probably the easiest to escape in the entire movie series, where all Amanda has to do is cut open the other person who's supposed to be dead. It's like an episode of Fear Factor almost.
Yeah.
But you'll just be killed. And obviously Fear Factor wouldn't use like a person. They'd use like...
Well, they got in trouble before they got to that point with the horse semen incident.
Yeah, if they gotten past that, then they would have...
Yeah, if nobody said anything, they would have gotten there.
What a terrible
These
idea.
dang liberals.
Okay, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else you want to add in about Saw 1?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
Classic.
It might be the only one now that I've seen all these movies 2 or 3 times that I'm down to watch again.
oh yeah.
Oh, like if you ask me right now?
Yeah, if you ask me right now, like I'd only be down to watch the first one.
Oh,
Who knows what'll happen in a few months, but I'm honestly really glad to be done with
I think
this.
there's one more I could rewatch right now, but I also agree.
This did feel a little heavy, this rewatch, as opposed to some other ones.
This was a taxing rewatch.
Yeah.
for sure.
They're so samey. But anyway, speaking of samey, what's our second one?
That would be
Saw 2.
Saw 2.
Creative naming. Okay, I mean, Danny, what did you have Saw 2 ranked as?
Number 2.
What about you?
I actually have it as number 3.
Okay.
Ooh, I have it as number 2 as well. But I'm gonna be honest, I jotted these down pretty quick. What's your number? Oh wait,
My
no,
number
we're doing
two-
this wrong. We're doing this all wrong. Now, out of curiosity, what did you put as number 2 though?
Number 3.
Oh, interesting.
I can see that. It was definitely a close toss.
And I move those back and forth a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I gotta stick on my 2, if that's cool with you, Danny.
for number 2.
Yeah.
I think
can
so.
concede
Okay.
2
I think
to
so.
the number 2 slot. Like I said, I went back and forth a whole lot. I just three's got some stuff I like a little bit more about it, but we'll get there.
2 is, it's a lot more like I don't know if you've ever seen Cube. It's essentially
I've seen A Cube.
ice cubes. I'm just kidding. Hypercube and Cube. It's kind of like the same thing. It just takes things and amplifies it more. It's like a typical sequel. But I mean, the setting as a group going through the thing, it's definitely different in that aspect.
Oh, Cube is that like kind of Saw movie, right?
It's essentially Saw.
Yeah, but
yeah.
they're just like in a cube-shaped room, right? There's
Yeah,
like no
that they don't know what the
furniture
origin
or
is.
anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of want to check that out.
That
It
movie's
seems really good.
The first Cube itself is great. Hypercube, skip it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I need to add that on there. How funny too, because that has to be a Saw-inspired movie,
I wonder if it came out before.
which is kind of crazy
I bet
because
it was after.
I think there was a few movies before this that were inspiration, but Saw really
Cube
kind of
came out before.
Cube came out before, really.
Cube was in 1997.
I got to see
Wow.
you, and IMDb was like Cuba Gooding Jr.
All right, so this might be a reverse situation going on here. But Saw really popularized this whole thing, and maybe is probably kind of responsible for escape rooms. You know what I mean?
Hey, yeah, you
Oh,
know.
for sure.
Like the escape room is very much Saw, but just without, getting sawed.
Yeah.
Although that's a Japanese thing. Maybe
Maybe at those like
Japanese movie.
novice escape rooms.
Yeah, if you're going to the real hardcore escape room. Okay, so Saw 2, quick little synopsis here. We're introduced to Eric Matthews, who's Donnie Wahlberg. In my notes, I wrote him down as sad dad, but he's way more than a sad dad. He's also a detective who's looking for Jigsaw.
I mean, a lot of detectives are sad dads.
Yeah, as Chris Rock told us in Spiral. And then as far as the movie goes, though, as Danny was just saying, this one, I think, steps up as far as sequels go. Like when you have to step up your premise for the sequel, this was a very logical place to go. It's like, okay, instead of two people, we're in a house full of strangers. They're dangerous. We're going to release some nerve agent in the air, and they got to escape by any means necessary.
And we're going to have the kid in there be the cop's kid who put them all in jail.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's some good little twists and surprises in this one. That's more or less the plot, though. I mean, there's not it's more of the same. This one isn't branching out into the soap opera-esque storyline that is Saw universe.
No, we're expanding very slowly from one single poop-covered bathroom to like a house.
To a poopy house.
Poop-covered house. I don't know if you guys have seen, this is one of my favorite movies, also a little sidebar, Dead Silence. Also James Wan produced. I think
That
directed.
stupid
the puppet movie.
It's that dumb puppet movie.
That movie
I hate that
sucks.
movie.
I love that movie, and I know it's bad.
I don't know why, but none of you remember this.
I remember it, David.
Okay.
I was there
Okay,
because
Frank
I
was there.
remember because I got the satisfaction out of it.
We watched this movie together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
And you and Brandon and Durf were talking about how good it was. And then Frank and I were like, what is this? But you know what? It's funny you bring that up, though.
Because Donnie Wahlberg is in it.
Oh, that's even weirder.
And he's almost the exact same character. That's why I was bringing it up.
Well, Donnie Wahlberg doesn't have a huge range.
What's the name of the character in Dead Silence?
Oh,
look
that's
it up
a great
real quick.
question.
Because I saw this interview today with James Juan, and he said that it is confirmed the same universe. Like in his book, these
Saw?
two movies, Dead Silence exists in the Saw universe.
Detective Lipton.
Detective Lipton.
Yeah.
Okay, that's even weirder.
Sounds
That's-
refreshing, but doesn't make sense for James Wan's thing over here.
Wait, so that's even weirder
weird.
because then he's not the same. He's just like there's two cops in this universe that look the same.
Well, it's this guy's twin brother.
But even the weirder thing is that in Band of Brothers, Donnie Wahlberg plays Lipton. That's his name. So it's like,
Their great grandfather. How weird.
dang, is Band of Brothers part of the Saw universe?
Also,
is
Charlie
now.
Clouser is the soundtrack for Dead Silence also.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between these two. Also, there's a puppet in both of them.
There's also a puppet in The Conjuring.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
And it
you
looks
know,
almost exactly the same.
Billy the Puppet is in Dead Silence. They sneak him in there. He makes a guest
Oh, yeah, he
appearance.
is. He's in one
Yeah.
of the cases.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
They just do a pan and like you see him for like a second. It's
I think
really
at that
clever.
time I wasn't even watching Saw, so I would have been like, "Hey, there's a
Dang,
puppet."
Dead Silence came out in 2007, so it was way far into the Saw universe.
Yeah, it was pretty far. It was when they started giving them money to do other things.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, anyways, though, that's more or less the plot here. Do you want to give us the numbers on Saw 2, Frank?
Yes, this 2005 release scored a 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb. We're still getting up there. 36% on Rotten Tomatoes with its 93-minute runtime. Made on a budget of $4 million. They got a little bit more funding because, one poopy room, whole house. Got to get a little bit more in there. Opening weekend of $31,725,652 with a worldwide gross.
That is nasty.
Yeah, that's pretty raunchy. Worldwide gross $147,748,505.
That might be the most exponential sequel we have covered as a movie ranking.
Like, that's
Maybe.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because in comparison,
we haven't done a lot of sequels on movie rankings, have we? Except for Tremors.
Were we talking about? We did the prequel to the sequel, and I think we did announce the numbers.
We didn't do the numbers on the Star Wars episode.
I thought we did.
No, it was a travesty. We should have.
Dang. But I don't know.
Numbers.
Yeah, I definitely didn't do numbers.
What happened?
How weird.
That was a weird episode.
But exponentially, that's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I mean, the sequels typically, do pretty well because they have a base audience already, but that's fat stacks. That's why they kept going.
yeah.
Oh, they paid for the next 50 films already.
they're like, we have this. We're done raising money for this project. So I don't know. What do you guys think about Saw 2? Anything stand out to you?
Big sticking points for me, and I just want to go over this because it's the only reason that it ultimately ended up at the 3rd spot for me over the 2 spot for 3. Donnie Wahlberg sucks. He's a little kind of terrible. And there's one scene specifically where he's like tossing and turning at night in his bed, and it's so cringy. It's so terrible.
Well, this is directed by Darren Bozeman, who goes on to do quite a few of these movies, and I'm wondering if it might be some of his direction too, because I've definitely seen Donnie Wahlberg. I mean, we just watched him in Sixth Sense, you know what I mean? And he was so good in Sixth Sense. He's solid in Band of Brothers. But I agree with you 100%.
Might be the direction.
Not good in this movie. But that's also one of the cool things about Saw, like as a franchise. Like maybe not, it's not the same director a lot of the time. They switch a little bit in the writing and stuff. But a lot of the main crew, it's the same crew. Like through the entire thing, it's very much like the Saw family. You know what I mean? And even, much like Tremors.
Even Juan and
Winnell.
Yeah, Winnell, they're on as executive producers for like the whole series.
The entire thing. Well, they got to make that money.
I think it was only up until Spiral that Winnell wasn't involved.
Yeah, Juan produced it. He did the exec on it.
Even one of the producers, he dies after 2, but they give him production credits for the rest of the franchise, which is just heartwarming.
That is really heartwarming. Wow. I was going to make a rude joke, but why? That's so nice.
Yeah. I think Donnie is a good lead, but like... You're right. Like his direction is probably pretty weak on this, but like his anger gets real tiresome. Like the way he's like over the top in a lot of things.
The tantrum he throws like in the lair just had me like giggling, man, when he's just like wrecking everything, all those little like models and stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Something I'm not crazy about this movie, and I can't just talk about this one. It really goes into the rest of these, but when they reveal the twist at the end, because the cops have Jigsaw in this movie. That's what's going on in the cop Jigsaw storyline. They have him in custody, but this trap is already set in motion.
It's a domino.
And there's a live feed of the house. So they're like, man, we gotta, let's beat it out of him.
Yeah.
But yes, that's when we learn the twist is that it's not live. Actually, great twist.
It's been videotaped. The calls coming from inside the house.
Yeah, this is really good. But man, when they do a twist in a Saw movie, they really spell it out for the audience.
Yeah. Here, look, dummies.
It's like embarrassing almost how many times they're showing me, like they're like almost showing Jigsaw like making copies of the tape on his VCR and then like labeling it like live feed in quotation marks. It's so they think so little of the audience, but maybe they're right. I don't know.
I mean,
I mean, at $147 million, there's a lot of people who went to go see this movie, and a lot of them are pretty dumb, I bet.
That's probably
just
true.
Judging from like knowing people.
Something that I think really stands out to me in this movie is being pretty important for the Saw universe is the explanation of the puzzle piece. So Jigsaw always cuts the skin off his enemy. His victim. And
also enemies in some cases.
Also his enemy, yeah.
They're not buds, most of them.
In some instances, it's definitely his enemy.
Cecil.
It's for the people that are missing a vital piece of the human experience.
The will to survive. The survival instinct. I don't kill people, I make them
When
better.
you come face to face with death, you are obsessed with living.
But one thing that is kind of nice, and it's in all of them, like they do a good job of like writing his hidden messages, like when he's talking to people. You know what I mean? His hidden clues are really good. Like especially in this one, he's like, no, like I told you the rules. I was telling you the rules the whole time, and you didn't listen.
Yeah,
and they go back, and you're like, yeah.
What does he tell you too? Just to be patient.
Be patient and listen.
Be patient and listen.
And when our time is up, you will find your son.
Yeah. And he, goes crazy. He goes off to try and find his kid. He ends up getting himself caught in the bathroom, chained up. He meets the same fate.
I'll kill you.
Game over. Banana. A lot of a surprising amount of these movies end with someone saying "game over"
Every
and then
time.
slamming a door. Yeah, sliding a door usually. Yeah,
they really like sliding doors and Saw.
They love the sliding doors. Although this really threw me off. Okay, so in the first movie, we only see the bathroom really, and then we see some of the hallways. It's like an industrial building or something, because he almost Danny Glover almost catches him at the end before dying. But in this movie, we see that the house, that there's like this basement compartment that they go under. There's that hidden panel, and then they go into the floor, and then they go through like some tunnels under the house, and then they're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I'm really confused about.
Wait, is this house next to the warehouse?
Is this house on top of this industrial place? Is it not really a house and it's just made to look like a house?
Sometimes areas get rezoned and they were previously industrial and then they're residential. I can only assume.
I don't think it's new construction on that house.
I'm just trying to. Well, it could happen a long time ago. We've had it. We've been an industrial nation for quite a long time.
Although I would imagine when people are trying to connect two plots in Hollywood, they're just like, secret tunnel, dummy.
I guess. Is this like a house like directly across the street from this like abandoned plant facility?
Tunnels aren't that hard. Cartels do it with rudimentary materials to cross the border. You know what I mean?
It's just when you watch it, it just seems like it doesn't seem like there's ever a long tunnel. It's never like running down this huge long. It's like, okay, I'm turning the corner and now I'm in the bathroom. And I'm like, wait a second. We just saw this last movie and you definitely weren't in like a residential neighborhood. I don't know. A little confusing for me, a little disorienting. But you know what, Saw 2? The performances suck. The kid sucks. The dad sucks.
That kid
Amanda's fun, but you know, even some of the other survivors in the house, that's a whole thing. Like they're all criminals.
I think the like meth heady kind of guy, the one who kidnaps everybody, does a decent job. But his character's like super minimal, so he didn't have a huge plate to fill.
That's true. Although he comes back, doesn't he? No way, he dies.
No, he gets burned up.
He gets burned up real good. Well, this would actually be a pretty good time for me to hit the good old trap list, which looking at this, I think I missed one of them. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm going to have to create like a real fire trap beat to put under this.
Here we go. We have the Venus flytrap, Face Iron Maiden. That's what I put two names on it.
Love that one.
It's the key in the eye. Mm-hmm. Okay, quick Saw trivia. Who sets up this trap in the Saw universe?
Dr. Gordon.
Dang, it is Dr. Gordon.
Dang, I blanked.
Dang, okay, Frank's on it. Yeah, so this is a great kill, an awesome trap. And that's another thing too. A lot of my rankings are just like, how much did I enjoy these traps? You know what I mean? This is a great one. We have the peephole gun that kills the businessman.
A peephole gun?
It's a peephole gun. Like he's looking through the peephole in the door and he gets blown up. Okay, quick Saw quiz. Revolver, right? Who sets up this trap in the Saw universe?
I don't know, Detective Hoffman.
That was... Hold on. I'm trying to like see not the original scene. No, it is Hoffman. I'm
pretty sure, I could be wrong. I didn't plan this game out ahead of time. It's very impromptu. I'm pretty sure this is Amanda, and I think Jigsaw even criticizes her for making a trap that's unwinnable or something like that. I don't know.
No, it's Hoffman. That's when he explains to him like, I just predict human nature. That's when he has the whole conversation with him.
You're right.
Yeah. Damn, okay. I remember more of this movie than I thought I did.
So then I think I get it right because Hoffman is
Danny guessed it first.
So then Hoffman is the one that sets up more of these cruel ones, but because Amanda only sets up like maybe a handful of ones that are unwinnable.
Because Hoffman's like cruel in nature. You know what I mean?
He's not a Jigsaw. Yeah.
Amanda's got a whole movie of setting up unwinnable traps, which we're about to get to. Mm-hmm. But Hoffman is also very Jigsaw.
Hoffman has many movies like this.
I don't even understand. Anyway, what else do we have here? We have the furnace with antidotes. Mm-hmm. So the whole thing about this movie is they got to use the antidotes for this nerve gas is being released. They have an hour, and one of the guys goes in to get him. The nerve
of that gas.
Yeah,
well, a lot of them are drug addicts too, right?
Well, this guy's a drug addict. I don't think these other people necessarily were.
Well, one of them's a pusher.
Well, Amanda is.
Yeah. One of the girls a prostitute, and you usually get that way from being a drug addict.
Yeah, we have a lot of assumed drug addicts in this movie. We also have the Chinese hand trap box with the the other lady who's in the house. She like sticks her hands up to grab the antidote.
The anus made of razors.
Yeah, and the blades come down and trap her hands. That one. I really hate it because if she had just put one hand in through one side and then used her other hand to keep the blades open, she would have been fine.
But they were at that point in the movie though, the nerve agent was already like having a pretty solid effect.
Yeah, that's true. They weren't making great decisions. And I think I left this one off the list, but I remember it. Maybe I missed another one. And this isn't really a trap as much as it is the key that's in the pile of syringes.
Oh,
and this
man.
is like the hard to watch scene for me. Man.
Yeah, that one's definitely one that makes me squirm.
Amanda gets
a little
yeeted
bit.
into
Yeah,
this.
she gets tossed into this thing, and then she's just digging through, looking for these syringes, and it's like, man, you guys really should toss
Do you
her
think
a
that
board or
she-
something.
Knew that was going to happen? Because
No, there's
Right.
no way she could have known. I
'Cause,
was
I mean,
actually just thinking while
she
she
set
was
it
in
up,
there,
right?
she was like, "This is some bull. This is not what I signed up for."
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you actually got me on this one.
If you are new to Saw in this movie, we still assume that this is all Jigsaw. And there's a couple things in this movie that are unwinnable, and I'm over here like, what's up, Jigsaw? Like, at the beginning, they find his workshop, and there's literally this cage, and they just start firing off a gun and killing all these police officers. I'm like, what is this, Jigsaw? I mean, I guess technically they didn't have to come snooping. Is that? But you're still killing him. You know what I mean?
But yeah, he's like claiming to be this altruistic, like
Yeah.
non-murderous.
I've never taken a life.
Well, Jigsaw doesn't like murderers, but his flavor saver's kind of down for murderers.
It's true.
It's got its own
And
personality.
he gets worse as the movies keep going too. He keeps getting creepier, and the patch keeps getting longer and longer.
We should have all went flavor saver for this episode, guys. We should all grown one out and shaved everything else.
I got mine in there a little bit.
It's in there, but it's not drawing the attention and power it deserves.
No, that's why you should never accentuate the flavor saver.
Oh, it's very accentuated. Maybe in like Saw 6 or like
Yeah.
It's
you know
all
when he
long and
shaves his
blonde.
head too.
When he starts playing with Limp Bizkit. I think that's all the traps. But what we were saying, if you're not, familiar with Saw, in this movie we think it's Jigsaw, but in a couple movies later, in the very next movie, we're gonna find out that Amanda set up a lot of these traps, and that but it is revealed at the end of this movie that she's working with him, which is another big part of this reveal.
Amanda playing the heroine for most of the movie, really.
Yeah, you're rooting for her, but then you find out, oh, she's the baddie. So, I don't know. I mean, overall, a solid movie. I don't think there's any problem.
Solid number 2.
watch.
You're
Very
like,
solid.
oh, yay, more of what I wanted.
I'll get more into why I think 3 deserve the spot. Like, honestly, I'm okay with the official list being 1 and 2 so far. But I have more points than when we get into 3.
Okay, well, let's turn it on over to the third movie, in which we already know. I'm guessing you're going to have this as 3 now, right?
Yeah, now it would be my number 3.
Okay.
What would be yours?
I actually have Saw 3 ranked as, and you guys are not going to agree with this whatsoever, as number 6.
Oh, a hard disagree. Yeah.
I have a lot of problems with this movie, but I'm willing to be flexible here.
I could also be flexible because Saw 3 is my number 4.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, out of curiosity, what would be your next one, Danny?
Saw 6.
Interesting.
Which is surprising for me
That
even.
is actually, I'm not too far off because I was also surprised by how much I enjoyed 6 this time.
And which is surprising to me because I hate the Hoffman ones just off the bat.
well, if you guys are
I
down,
hate his face.
Hate
Can I just say
Hoffman's
that?
face. Oh, I hate
if you guys are down for 3, I'm down for 3. Does
Yeah,
that sound
for 3
okay
for
to you?
Let's put it
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
3 for 3.
This seems, because I'm not going to win this argument. I'll just complain about it right now.
From here on out, it gets very subjective.
Oh yeah.
This whole thing is subjective, really. Like, all these movies
No, this
have
is
problems.
definitive.
Okay, so Saw 3. Jigsaw needs a nurse. This movie,
Home healthcare Saw.
yeah, this is the alternative medicine practices movie.
The hospice,
the hospice.
chapter.
Man, I hate this nurse too, man. She is the worst.
Okay, the big part of why I hate this movie's really, which sounds ridiculous because these movies are littered with bad performances.
Wait, she is like a doctor, though, right? Like,
She is a
we
doctor.
should stop
Yeah.
demoting her.
Sorry.
She went through a lot of fake medical school to get there.
This character studied a lot to get this role. I can't stand this doctor, and I can't stand Jeff. Jeff is my least
I
favorite
hate Jeff.
protagonist.
Yeah, absolutely.
In all of these movies, and for me, that's a big thing.
He's
like,
more of an annoying rager than Donnie Wahlberg.
yes,
Jeff is my one big problem with Jeff is he takes so long to get into gear.
thank you,
God.
thank you.
That I have a huge problem with that for sure.
Yeah, I love the traps in this movie.
Dude,
That's
yes.
where it's
and I
going to
love
get me
the
a lot.
premise, but man, Jeff really knocked it down some pegs for me. But I'm down for it to be 3.
The twists. Oh, good.
That's hilarious because one of my bullets on Saw 3 is literally Jeff is a terrible actor, and I kind of found him annoying.
Okay, so
The traps really saved this movie.
the plot line of this one, Jigsaw needs a doctor is, well, Jigsaw needs a doctor. His brain tumor, which originally kicked this whole thing off.
It is a tumor.
Yeah, a tumor. He needs to get it cut out. Or he needs, in this case, they're not even cutting it out.
They're just relieving the internal pressure in his skull.
Yeah, they need to get him to live just a little bit longer.
Which is a surgery my dad actually had.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Dude, and well, we'll get there right now. But Amanda kidnaps a doctor because they obviously can't take him into a hospital. They're going to get busted. And then our, parallel storyline is Jeff, a father whose son was killed in a car accident, and he is just so upset, and it's taking over his life, the grief.
Oh yeah.
So Jigsaw puts him in a position where he needs to,
because shame on that guy for grieving his son.
Yeah, shame on that guy for grieving the loss of a child.
Well, the thing was, like, and spoiler, like, he's so overcome with his grief that he's not noticing that he's being cuckolded.
Oh yeah,
and he's totally forgetting about his daughter.
Again, shame on him for being
not
cuckolded.
taking care of his daughter at all.
Yeah, his fault.
That's not his fault, but totally ignoring his daughter.
Yeah,
that's not okay.
He still has a crime? Like, I don't know if that's a crime.
Is that gonna end you up in a torture room? Compared to some of these other movies?
Oh my god, yeah, his wife sucks. She's terrible to him.
Yeah.
Awful.
Not a great wife.
The movie begins with like her cheating on him too.
Well, we're getting a little bit of the twist, but why not with the plot here?
There's still more twist to unveil later.
That is the twist.
The doctor is his wife,
Yeah.
but the whole movie you don't know this. Because the first scene of the movie is her really struggling through the scene. And just like you assume her husband, but really it's Sancho. What are you going to do? All right. Well, numbers, man.
For Saw 3, the 2006 release has a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb and a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes with its 108-minute runtime. Made on a budget of $10 million. We're going to start to get up there. Opening weekend of $33,610,391. Yeah, for the first weekend.
That's good. It's not the exponential amount that some of these other ones have been, though.
Right in the success of number 2.
Yeah, but they're still going to make $164,874,275.
Almost dirty.
Oh, that's where it's at.
That's a big old chunk of change. You could buy so many dino nuggies with that.
At least one.
At least, at the very least.
You can plant a dino nuggie tree for that kind of money.
You might be able to like get somebody to make you nuggies out of actual dino for that amount of money.
Well, yeah.
Oh, it tastes like oil.
It's all sandy.
We were talking a little bit about this, but this is actually, there's a double twist in this movie.
Yeah, and that's like my favorite part.
And then there's even more twists later.
Later on the next one.
When you retcon, there's actually like 19 twists that occur in this movie that you're just not ready for.
Man.
I want someone to edit together Saw in sequential order.
As one movie?
Sequential Saw. And it'll be like 9 hours long, but every scene in the order it occurred. That'd be pretty nice.
That'd be pretty nice.
That'd be pretty
I'd watch it.
Pretty nuts.
I'd watch it. It would cut down a lot of time.
Okay, so wait, but what were you going to say though?
No, I was just going to say that that's kind of like why this movie is so important to the series here on out. Because now it's like there's the first movie, but there's this movie that kind of like sets it up for all of it.
We get into the drama for reals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, some big firsts for this one. It's the first John without the flavor saver. They get rid of that.
That's right.
And big thing for horror movies, first boobies of the series, y'all.
Whoa.
Is that Carrie's?
The frozen girl in the
frozen
freezer.
Oh, that's right.
She's super nude.
In my notes, I wrote naked boobs getting sprayed in a freezing room.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the trap. It's a
That's
messed
a bad
up
one.
trap,
That's
dude.
a bad one. I think my favorite traps out of these ones.
Whoa, hang on.
Sorry. We didn't get to there.
You're
We
gonna
didn't
kill
get
my
to
trap list, man.
Sorry.
Start the trap music, Frank. No, anyways. Well, now I feel like we should just.
You
hit
have
the
to
trap
have
list.
it
I
now.
just feel so rude. Okay, let's hit it. So we have. Not Jigsaw. I wrote this in my notes and then I gave up on this immediately because as the movies went on, I'm like, I'm not going back and updating all this.
Figuring out who it is.
It's not my fault they decided to do the plot like this.
We have the man chained in the elementary school with the chain in the jaw, and he's got to rip all of them out. That's a messed up one, man.
Just because he was a prisoner.
Oh yeah.
Well, a repeat offender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kept going back.
And he had no reason to. Like,
You must get rid
he
of
had
the shackles.
like everything he needed in life.
Yeah. There we go. It was him wasting
He
opportunities.
wasted his privilege.
Shame on you for being brown.
That was also probably a problem. Yeah.
We have this is for Carrie, the rib cage corset.
One of the most important traps in the entire.
Yeah.
One of my favorite traps in the entire series.
And we have a key that's in acid that's like melting.
Which she grabs almost with both hands and could have.
Thank you. Thank you. That whole movie, I was like, why didn't you just like tip
Pour
it
some
over
of that
a little
acid
bit?
out.
You don't have to go whole hand in acid. You can just get like fingertips in acid.
Completely unwinnable.
Oh yeah, that one is very unwinnable.
Which we find out later.
The chain guy, because even if he got out, the door was welded shut.
Yeah.
And there's no way he was gonna pull that thing through his jaw and survive.
Which we learn later that these are both Amanda traps and why she's messed up. Then we get into the rest of these are in the game.
Yes.
In the main game, we have the freezing room with the naked lady.
Yeah.
That one's pretty bad.
The woman who drove away. This is talking about who these characters are.
How you froze in the moment.
Yeah, in relation to
Guys, it is your
movie.
civic duty to be a good witness.
Yeah.
Unless there's like cartel involvement, then you should probably just keep yourself safe.
Probably should not look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do like we did in the Guitar Center parking lot that one time and be like, we should probably get out of here.
Yeah, that sounds. I remember that. Then we have the judge in the case with the vat of liquefied rotting pigs.
That pig slop trap is too gnarly, man.
It's awesome, and I'd just like to point out the consistency and the color of that like pig juice. We'll call it pig juice.
Yeah.
Is the same as in 6 at the very end when they do. I don't want to like spoil your traps or anything, David, but when they do the acid in this dude's body and it separates in half,
dude.
it's the exact same like color and consistency. I feel like they were like, hey, I have that in my recipe book. Like, let's just whip it up again.
Can I just say that I didn't know this was a real thing? If it is a real thing,
What?
That you can liquefy a pig like that, and so
Baby, if you got a good enough blender, you can liquefy anything.
Yeah, dog. Get yourself one of those ninja
There you go.
blenders. I just have to say too, and I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet, but one of the best things about Saw is just how practical most of these effects are. And
Most
how
of them.
good they look.
In the first half.
Earlier movies, yeah. It's the further we go, they get a little more CGI, but these first ones, and even some of the later ones, though.
Even some of the later practicals are bad.
Well, you think so? Well,
Some of them.
I got to think about it
So
now.
we'll get there.
We'll get there. You can shout them out.
There's a lot of problems with 3D, you know?
Then we also have one of the worst traps,
Best?
the rack.
Yes. Yeah.
one of my favorite traps.
The drawn and quartering with a twist.
Dude.
And this is the driver of the car.
And another unwinnable trap.
Yeah. Well, maybe this one could have been one, but like not without breaking your arms first.
I mean, this dude would,
It wasn't
maimed.
a walk away scot-free.
It's just so bad. And then the
Well,
head
like
at the end.
he almost pulled it off. Again, if Jeff had just gotten
Yes.
into action sooner and like maybe the judge wouldn't have walked in the way and gotten his head blown off, you know what I mean? He could have pulled off the key and got it, had some time to find where the lock was.
And the lady in the freezing room, too. If he wasn't just standing there yelling at her for a while and then looking all moody and upset and then thinking about getting the key, like the dude wastes so much time.
The only reason the judge got out is because he's such a good arguer that he was able to talk some sense into him.
And the premise, too, of the movie is like Jigsaw telling him, you have 2 hours to blah, blah, blah. Or 1 hour, whatever it is.
Can you forgive the sins against your son?
Yeah, there's always these times in the movies, and most of the time it lines up with real life.
That's nice.
Like in the movie, they'll be like, you have 1 hour. And then you hit like information on the thing or whatever. And it's like, oh, there's 1 hour left in this movie. Like they're pretty on it.
It's like Animal Crossing that
Yeah,
way.
it is. Yes. One of the many ways that Saw and Animal Crossing are like. Okay, well, the only other thing I have in my notes, like as far as my lists go, is that we have to shout out that Hoffman shows up in this movie.
Yeah.
He's just a forensics man in this first one.
Beginning.
And he's literally in the movie for like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But he will later be the star of the series. So.
They were just like, well, we can't get anyone to come back. So what about that dude? What's he doing?
We killed all the really talented actors. And Donnie Wahlberg.
There were 2 like goofs that I noticed in this one.
Oh, okay.
after they get out of the pig juice, they're both like clean and dry. So they screwed that up.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
when the doctor's performing that surgery, she has like this white piece of tape on the drill bit to like gauge her depth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it moves a couple times, a couple different shots. It's a little bit
Really?
higher and a little bit lower. But that being said, that open head looks so
Okay.
good. The like membrane. Oh yeah.
I'm glad you
dude.
brought this back. Yeah, the surgery in this movie is insane.
Yeah.
When they do
That's
that
cool
brain
stuff,
surgery, ooh. And then like she's being so precise with that drill, or attempting to be. But then when she gets out the saw, I'm like, what are you even doing? How do you even know?
Yeah.
This is insane. I guess she's just going until she feels that break. I don't even understand.
Yeah, when you're sawing through things, you just go till you feel the give, you know?
Yeah, but it's just so precise. It's just terrifying. It's a terrifying scene to watch. And in a different setup than these movies usually are, where it's like, oh, she's actually saving someone right now, but it's still gory and terrifying.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Also, the ending of this movie is great. And I put in my notes here, great ending to a ho-hum movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the final test is Jigsaw. We learn that Jigsaw needs to test Amanda because he thinks that she's being too cruel.
To keep
Well, that's
people
really
alive.
like the second to final test. You know what I mean? Because it's like
twist.
it's like Amanda's test and then immediately Jeff's last test.
Yeah.
Yes, his last test is to not kill Jigsaw.
Yep.
But Amanda's test is first because it's to not
kill Jeff, right?
kill
Jeff's
the
wife.
lady.
Oh, Jeff's wife. That's right. Because
And Jigsaw knows that Amanda will fail, so that when Jeff comes in, he'll be upset and kill Jigsaw.
Yes.
It's a good old Mexican standoff right at the end.
yeah. It,
With not a single Mexican.
Yeah, as most of them are in the movies. Because let's be fair,
not many.
not a lot of representation.
Not
back
much.
For our Rasa.
then. Yeah.
What are you going to do? My last note for this movie was, man, Amanda was so close to pulling off the hat trick, but John remains the undefeated Saw champion.
And
then I must have written that right before he died.
you're like, wait.
Now that I'm saying it out loud, I needed one more note. Oh, wait, never mind.
No, but he counted on it, so he's still like checkmate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Game over.
Now the game begins.
DDD. Is there anything else? Oh, I got a shout out in this movie. I love when Donnie Wahlberg punches Amanda. It's like Donnie Wahlberg will hit a woman. He's not thinking twice about it. He beats her like intensely.
Well, that's probably why it was the most realistic part of his performance.
Yeah. Donnie Wahlberg was able to channel something that was just in him and ready to come out.
It's not quite as brutal and unhinged as Nick Cage's rampage through the town in The Wicker Man, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah. It's still pretty good. Yeah, and that's another thing too. In this movie, we do see Donnie Wahlberg escape in a gnarly way.
Yeah.
Because he's chained up in that bathroom, but instead of sawing his foot
he had to make
off,
his foot a little bit more flexible, you know?
Yeah, he just like breaks all the bones in his ankle and in his foot. It's like so sick.
Oh, you talking about
when he gets the toilet lid and just breaks his foot apart.
you didn't have to go that hard, man.
Yeah.
He did, though.
He did it for us.
To have to get out of it, to not cut his foot off, which it might get cut off later because you're like,
oh, you're definitely going to have to amputate that bad boy.
I mean, there's going to be internal bleeding that you can't stop.
Yeah.
And he didn't even tourniquet it. That's the worst part when he's doing it, is like he takes his sock off or whatever, he puts it in his mouth. I'm like, dude, tourniquet, if you're going to like break your foot,
reals,
like
right?
tourniquet it at the leg, you know what I mean?
Well, you know what? Dr. Gordon was a doctor, so he knew to cauterize it, as we'll find out later. But
I am.
he's just some cop.
Well, you think cops would know?
I mean, it's pretty
know.
basic knowledge to tourniquet something if you're going to amputate or seriously injure it.
God.
Right?
It's just so gross to even think about. And then the bathroom's so dirty. It's going to get infected.
Yeah, you see the corpses from first movie in there.
Oh, yeah. Confirmed Adam death.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful about who's dead and who's not in these movies because you think they're dead.
And
then
Dr.
they're
Gordon's
back.
foot makes a
Dr.
comeback.
Gordon's foot makes an
And not
appearance.
the last appearance it's going to make either.
It's going to show up one more time. Okay, so what do you guys have? I guess I'll start this one off. My number 4. No, I'm doing this all wrong. I'm pulling a Danny right now. For Saw 4,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had Saw 4 ranked as my number 3.
Really?
So now I think I'll sit here pretty at 4. I don't know how you guys feel.
Very interesting. I have 4 so low.
Oh, man.
Weird.
Like so
really?
low. For some reason, I never remember 4. Like it's the one I remember the least.
It's kind of hard to say because, well, we can get into that when we're at Saw 4, but Saw 4 is number 6 for me.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm down to do 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 is my natural 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
6.
we are doing 4 right now.
Yeah, we are going to talk about 4.
Okay, so 4 will be number
6.
What's your 5?
Mine?
Yeah.
Spiral.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What's your 5?
Interesting. It's definitely not Spiral.
Can we put 4 at 5?
I'm okay with 4 at 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
In reconsideration of this list, yes, because I mean, I might as well just say it right now. But like, Saw 4 and Saw 3 can be considered the same movie almost.
Oh, that is interesting.
That's probably why I have so much trouble remembering it.
Yeah.
This is one where they're literally within the same moment.
At the same time.
Yeah, at the
They're
same
going
time.
on. Yeah.
This is why I need to make an edit.
Which is
of all the Saw movies.
retcon.
Yeah, let's retcon. They're going to do that a whole bunch. Okay, so Saw.
I just want to make sure so that I'm keeping track of the official list.
Where
We
we're
do
at,
have
yeah.
3 at 3, right? Our 1, 2, 3 is 1, 2, 3.
Space.
Nice.
4. So 4 is our 5th ranked Saw movie. Here we go. Saw 4, also directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. His last, at least in this row. This is. Oh, let me read this real quick. Which one is this?
Well, this is the one.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one that takes place at the same time.
Yeah.
We get Hoffman really stepping into the role here.
Awful, which is probably why I don't like it as
We
much.
get Strom and Perez.
It looks
the
a
FBI.
little bit too similar to Hoffman. Like he could be Hoffman's little brother
Yes.
with another weird face.
They kind of blend together.
And the big thing about this one plot wise is that Donnie Wahlberg is trapped with Hoffman. They're in a trap, and really the guy who is the main victim of this movie is Rigg, which I thought was cool, and also a pretty good actor. Like, they really should have given Rigg some more time in these movies.
He would have been a better lead than Hoffman, that's for sure.
He would have been a better lead than Donnie Wahlberg.
That
It's
too.
crazy. He does pretty good in these movies.
This is also mostly shown through flashbacks,
Yeah, this gets really confusing about
but this is more about Jigsaw origins. You know what I mean? This is definitely talking about the origins of Jigsaw, why he does what he does.
yes, our C storyline. We have like 3 concurring storylines.
Why is Jigsaw a serial killer who can't admit that he is a killer?
yeah. On Maury today. Okay, Frank, hit us with the good old numbers for part 4.
Saw 4, released in 2007, scored a 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb, a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes with its 93-minute runtime, which is going to be like the mean runtime for most of these movies, about 90 minutes.
Yeah,
Do you
I
make it longer
noticed-
than that?
I noticed they hit that hour and a half mark real consistently.
Made on a budget of $10 million, had an opening weekend of $31,756,764, and a worldwide gross, actually pretty like similar, $139,352,630.
Almost made the same amount of money.
Yeah,
How crazy.
almost as the first one, or the previous.
Good stuff. Well, what do we have here as far as like, I mean, what did you guys think about Saw 4?
Well,
At this point, it's kind of just more of the same.
Frank had a very strong opinion about this movie.
Dude, just
for
so you
you-
guys know,
for you,
I had Saw 4 ranked at 9.
For you audio only people, there was just like this head shake.
Yeah,
From all of us?
I don't enjoy 4, and
How
I
do
think
you
that's
have it
why I
ranked
like
at
never.
9,
I had it ranked 9, dude, because I was like, I remember the plots to all these other movies except for 4, so it felt like my duty to be like, you 4.
Interesting. Okay. Well, how about this? Let me hit the kills real quick, and maybe
Yeah.
I'll refresh the conversation.
Hit us with it.
Okay, so the first kill of the movie is the sewn eyes and sewn mouth.
That is an awesome opening.
The monkey emojis.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cold open.
It's 2 ends of the same chain. This is a man versus man trap.
Speak no evil, see no evil.
And yeah, these guys, if they could only communicate, but they're both missing a vital ingredient. One of them can't see and the other one can't talk. So it's good stuff.
Someone got screwed.
This is a great great opening, I think. Very tense.
You could compare this like co-op on the cold open to be kind of like when you're playing a Donkey Kong game with two people and someone gets stuck with playing Donkey Kong because he has the worst jump.
Yeah.
And someone gets Diddy and he gets to get everything else.
Yeah, you're right, though. The Diddy player is always better off for sure.
And you can't play as anyone else.
And you open some wounds for Danny there.
Now, this is our cold open kill. After this, we get into Rig's game. And this is an interesting one because it's not set in a location. It's like he's venturing around. He's doing a scavenger hunt, if you would.
Yeah.
But he's finding these rooms with traps. And the first one is in his house. And it's the worst haircut chair, where it's this girl's like ponytail being pulled through like this gear mechanism.
The worst haircut chair.
It's awful.
Oh, that's good stuff.
The next one is the Rapist hotel clerk. This guy's like, like out of all the people who get killed in these movies, it's the one that you're like rooting for the most.
That's a guy like he's like fighting with some random dude like at the door, right?
Yeah,
like with his dog or something.
It's like the seedy motel downtown El Paso. You know what I mean?
The Mesa Inn.
Yeah, the Mesa Inn. Every
mini fridge, Wi-Fi, daily rates,
HBO. Yeah, these guys. He goes up. Rig goes up to investigate. He like sneaks into this hotel, I guess. But anyway, he finds the room set up and he has to chain this guy to the bed. In this movie, Jigsaw's trying to get him to see from his perspective.
Yeah.
And then, this is another drawn and
It might have been like a pseudo recruiting effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, knowing how Jigsaw operates, apparently, where he's just trying to adopt all these people.
That might have been his end game there.
Yeah. Rig. I need Rig. But yeah, we have another drawn and quartering-esque trap. Then we have the abusive husband and his wife pinned together with arrows, and she has to remove the arrows, but they're in vital organs on him. This one's messed up too.
Pretty well thought out, though.
Yeah, this is a cool one. Also, probably a Dr. Gordon one.
Yeah,
I don't know if they show it in 7, but you would think that
it definitely wasn't Hoffman.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Amanda because
he doesn't think that far ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can clearly see that Hoffman is just trying to get by through the skin of his teeth on all of these movies.
It's like, well, I hope I impress my new daddy.
Yeah, straight up.
We have a flashback, and it's the push your face through knives to open
Cecil,
restraints.
the first Jigsaw
Cecil,
trap.
The very first Jigsaw trap, yeah. Cecil is, and I guess this is our Jigsaw origin story. It's really kind of dumb.
Super dumb.
Yeah.
Cecil, like, causes a miscarriage.
By slamming a door into a pregnant woman's stomach.
By trying to run out of a door.
Yeah.
Well, he was robbing
through doors like that.
He was robbing a
clinic that Jill Tuck works at, who's Jigsaw's wife.
Who thinks that a clinic has cash at?
No, he wasn't there for cash.
Oh, he was there for drugs. That's right.
Yeah. Like, you don't rob a clinic for cash.
Yeah, it's like,
So, and also, curiously, like, while Jigsaw is outside in the car waiting for Jill, the lady who comes up, who's the prostitute, is the one from part 2.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of cool little shout outs like that. But then, that we have that Cecil flashback kill, and then we have the last one, the big trap, which is Donnie versus Matthews.
On the ice?
Yeah, Donnie Wahlberg's like on ice, and when the ice melts, he'll hang himself, and the water will tilt to the scale that they're on, and Hoffman will get electrocuted.
Yeah.
This is a great trap.
Yeah, and you know what? Detective Matthews didn't lose his foot. He's got that little boot on.
Yeah, they put him in
I've worn one of those boots before. It's way better than a regular cast.
Oh, really?
You got one of those boots and some crutches, you could, like, your ground speed, super fast.
Huh. Look at that.
That's nice.
Yeah. I highly recommend the boot.
If you have a choice, get the boots.
Hoffman. Matthews getting that sweet ice cube smash is one of my favorite parts of this movie.
That is nice.
Yeah. It's a great final
Definitely
kill.
His head gets Gallaghered all over the place.
Yes, it really does. I thought this movie was hands down better than part 3. Just because it's almost, the plot wise and twist wise, it's the same.
Yeah.
But the kills are really good. They're very inventive in this one. And overall, your performances are better.
That's true.
Because Donnie Wahlberg is just going like for most of the movie. And then you have Rig, who's just like a much better performer, and he carries this movie. I thought this one. That's why I had this one as 3.
You know what? I can see those points, David.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely pick some stinky stuff out of all these.
Can I read you one of my bullet points for this?
Of course.
Because, I mean, obviously, I just write them out for my sake, but it's like, Detective Matthews, Donnie Wahlberg, returns, looks like and gets his head smashed by large ice cubes.
That's a great synopsis for that character's arc in this movie.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Nailed it.
He almost doesn't speak in this movie. I don't even know if he has any lines.
Hardly.
I was blown away that Donnie Wahlberg came back for what has to be one of the most uncomfortable shoots ever.
Oh, dude, easy paycheck.
All these scenes, he's just like in this harness. I'm sure, they have...
It was like wrapped around his torso, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
underneath that like
it's one of
little
those things.
convict suit or whatever it is.
But it's still got to be really annoying just being up there acting like you're choked for hours at a time.
Maybe he's into that kind of thing.
And he didn't even have to look good.
You might be right. Oh, you didn't have to do makeup. No, you do have to do makeup.
But you didn't have to get ready. Yeah.
Yeah, this is okay, so let's break down the twist at the end though. We find out that the guy who's running this trap with Wahlberg is the gentleman from the beginning. It's not Jigsaw.
Yeah.
It's the guy with the sewn mouth.
Right.
It's the guy with the sewn mouth.
It's a Donkey Kong trap.
He was a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer.
He was like John's lawyer and like friend.
And this is the way
so.
This is the only way he was able to survive, if he did this whole thing, right?
Yes, it was his game. And then Rig shows up after Jeff kills... What? What happens here
it's
again?
so hard, dude.
What happens here at the end of this? It's so confusing.
So I was looking up, and one of the big Reddit streams is Saw 4 confusion. Question mark.
It's confusing because it's revealed that this movie is running concurrently with Saw 3. And it's Hoffman who kills Jeff, right?
Yes. No.
Hoffman kills Jeff.
I don't think we get to see Jeff's death.
Don't we?
I don't remember how Jeff dies. I know Hoffman fake rescues Jeff's daughter.
He locks up Jeff somewhere then. Or something happens. Hang on.
See, we are stumped by watching this.
And literally, we just watched these. It's so confusing. What happens and what? Okay, death. As his own gun was empty, he grabbed the gun of the deceased Amanda Young and looked for a way out. Seconds later, the door to the room was opened by Special Agent Peter Strom.
That's right.
Who told him to show him his hands. Jeff, however, aimed the gun at him and demanded to tell him where his daughter was, causing Strom to shoot him in self-defense. Yes. I hate Detective Strom.
Yeah.
Like, the hate that you guys have for Hoffman is the hate I have for Strom.
That's pretty
much
there
the
for
same
me, I'll be
person.
honest.
It's like they're interchangeable.
You know what? I kind of dig Hoffman though. I like his energy.
I hate his
I like
energy.
his just like real
scumbag,
like conniving, and also his just
smirk just makes me so angry.
Yes, he's so confident and cocky. It's like,
but he's so incompetent at the same time.
Exactly. That's what I love about him. You know that he's just like not gonna pull it off. He's a hilarious character to watch. Okay, but anyways, I'm glad we cleared that up because that was throwing me for a loop, man.
It's really hard, man.
It's confusing, the endings of these movies.
Yeah.
But this sets up the whole, okay, Hoffman's actually a bad guy and he's trying to frame Strom through the whole thing. And this is the first like posthumous Jigsaw movie, essentially.
Well, no, because he's alive throughout this movie.
Oh, that's true, because it's at the same time as 3.
You think it is. See, they got you.
But they kick it off right at the end. Now it's the posthumous.
And you know what? That's probably why I have such a hard time remembering 4, because it's also 3.
Yeah. Ugh. It's very confusing.
Sounds a little sloppy to me, Darren Lynn Bosman.
All right, what do you guys have for Saw 5?
For Saw 5, I had Saw 5 ranked at 6.
Mine was about number 7.
Mine was how many of these movies are there?
9.
8.
Oh man,
5 is my 8.
Wow, what do we do here?
I don't even know. We're so spread apart.
Well, I know that my number 5 is not going to be what it is because it was Spiral.
Okay, wait. So yours is 6, you said, Frank?
For my number 5? Let me scroll back up. I have like my ranking at the top of the notes.
Yeah.
All of my notes, and then the official ranking at the bottom. So I'm doing a lot of scrolling
It's
right
tough,
now.
Man.
My 5, my 6?
You're 5.
What are we doing?
We're
I
doing
had
it-
6 at 4.
Okay.
And
We did 4.
we're talking about Saw 5 right now. I had Saw 5 at 6.
Okay, so you had it at 6, you had it at 7, I had it at 8. Why don't we put it as 7?
Sure.
Does that seem
that averages out?
Yeah.
Does that seem okay with everyone?
Yeah.
That's confusing. So what do we put it by?
We'll get there, you know? We haven't gotten there yet.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, we said 7? 7 is Saw 5. Yikes. Okay, I'm sorry for the people at home. So just to recap.
My like non-linear ranking down here gets so confusing.
We have 1, 2, and 3, a space for our number 4 spot. 4 ranked as 5, a space for our number 6 spot.
You know what? Don't even
and
get
then
confused.
5.
Just go to our Instagram and look at the awesome graphics that David set up for you.
They'll have it there.
Yeah, I might not. We'll see. Okay, so Saw 5, here's your plot, and this is directly out of my notes. Jigsaw is dead. Hoffman becomes Hoff Daddy. Tries to kill Strom. He lives. Hoffman gets credit for stopping Jigsaw. Promoted to detective. Yeah. The main trap? 5 will become 1. They must work together and against each other. That's Saw 5,
It's
baby.
Saw 2.
Pretty good.
2.
Saw
I do
2
like
as well.
group ones. I do like
Yeah.
when we do a group.
Yeah.
It
It was
adds a nice
refreshing.
dynamic.
It was refreshing.
And I'm actually kind of okay with not ranking this as 8 because I do like the traps in this one, even though there's
Traps are the best part.
some annoying characters in the movie. But
Well, Strom.
yeah,
I mean, that's
Strom-
kind of the down point of all of this.
This is
Well, we also have like super scratchy voice Strom now
yeah.
That's true.
because he had
And
to trach himself.
this movie's a lot of Strom and Hoffman. It's the most like Strom and Hoffman movie, and
Strom and Hoffman sounds like a bank.
Strom and Hoffman. I couldn't care less
Yeah. It is a really,
about this dynamic.
yeah. I'm apathetic to all that drama.
The good dynamic is the cat and mouse game between Hoffman and the 2 FBI agents.
That's Strom.
No.
That's one of the FBI
because he's
agents, isn't
taken
it?
off the case. The 2 that are still on the case.
Oh, the 2 that are
the
there.
like director
Yeah.
and then the lady who we thought was
yeah.
dead.
Yes.
That's the nice dynamic.
which I think is in 6.
Is that
No,
6?
wait. Yeah, that's not this one.
That's not this one.
No, that's 7.
That's 7.
Yeah,
That's the final chapter?
This is why I took all these notes.
Oh, God.
That's in the final chapter.
That's in the final chapter.
Ugh.
Let me read the kill list.
Oh, my God. See, this is where it gets muddy,
I'm
man.
feeling something happening in my brain right now. Like the synapses are trying to like rewire themselves.
Okay, so the first one of
I feel
this
like
movie.
Ashton Kutcher after time traveling.
Well, be careful, dude. You can get your hands blown off. Okay, so the first kill of the movie is the pendulum swinging blade. You have to crush your hands to get out. This is an unwinnable trap. Unwinnable trap. The next one is a head in the box and it's filling with water. Again, another unwinnable trap.
Yeah.
But he does find a way out. Strom gives himself the trach in the throat.
Pen.
He pulls a... Wait, this didn't happen in Dante's Peak. I feel like
Does it
I
happen
had
in
a
Dante's
memory of that happening in Dante's Peak.
I don't
and
think
then
anybody gets trached in Dante's
it
Peak.
doesn't
There's
happen.
another movie where they do a tracheotomy on
Right.
somebody with a pen, but it's not.
and it's
Dante's
like
Peak.
a volcano or something, isn't it? I thought.
No.
See, I was getting that movie mixed up with Dante's Peak. I don't know what it is. Hey, if you know what movie it is with
They
the
do
trach-
something similar in Three Kings. That's super dope. One of the
with the
few
lung?
Desert Storm movies.
Dude, that is a great scene too.
Yeah.
That's a fun movie. Coming soon after our Final Fantasy Spirits Within CLE. Anyways, where are we at here?
Awful.
The trach.
Oh, yeah.
That's how Strom escapes there,
Right.
and that's why he's all raspy for
Yeah.
the movie because he's trached himself. All right, then we get into the main trap. We have 5 people here, and they're all being, they all have to do with a crime that occurred, a building,
A like cover-up conspiracy.
a cover-up conspiracy.
Yeah, they're like insurance agents and
They're a bunch of different occupations, but it all has to do with this building.
a trust fund kid. There is a investigative reporter.
yeah, that's
There
the douchebag guy.
is
A fire
the
inspector.
zoning lady,
Yeah.
fire inspector,
Yeah.
and the real estate developer.
Real estate senior vice president.
Oh, yeah,
and
sorry, not just
the
the developer.
investigative journalist
That-
for the Herald.
That investigative
That's how he says it in
journalist
the
is one of the most annoying people in this entire franchise.
I'm sure most investigative journalists are like that, though.
Yeah, he's obnoxious.
Completely obnoxious.
And he dies so early. It's so enjoyable.
Yeah.
Not really enough, though.
Good traps. Honestly, great group traps in this movie.
Great group trap. So we have the first one, 5 leashes that will slice your head off when it's pulled.
That one's dope.
And they have to get each other's jars. But when you go forward, the leash pulls everyone else's back. They kind of recreate this in Jigsaw, sort of, a little bit different. Then after that, and a person dies in every room. So every room we go to, there's just like one less person. We have the find the key and then crawl in the tube or get set on fire and die. We have the a flashback to the razor cage from part 1 where we learn how that was set up. Ooh.
And we learned that the CSI teams in this city do not clean up the messes.
No, they don't. They just leave them
that
there.
stuff there.
They leave it there for people to find.
Yeah.
And apparently steal and then put in the movie Jigsaw. That's how that lady collected all those traps, because everyone just left them there. The cops just left all these dangerous traps there.
0 sense.
Then we have a flashback from the house from 2. They do the setup. Then we get the electrical current in the bathtub back to the main room where there's like these wires. They have to complete a circuit and there's a body of water in the middle. This one's a little lame. And then lastly, the bloodletting lock where you have to make yourself bleed with that saw blade.
With your fingers, and it's between the girl and the trust
and
fund
the junkie
kid, right?
guy, the trust fund junkie.
The girl, did you recognize her at all?
She looks super familiar, and I can't, honestly.
She is from Dexter.
She's Rita.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Rita
McIntyre.
Is that her name?
No, Reba.
Okay, you got me.
Ha, got him.
So yeah, man. This one I gotta say, kind of lame. I just I like the kills, but even some of these kills I'm not too crazy about.
Oh, I totally need to cut that out and add it to the soundboard. Just the pop and the kind of lame.
It's just, none of this movie's particularly interesting.
Just the traps, honestly.
Well, I mean, even the traps aren't amazing.
Not all of them, no.
They're not standout.
The best part is after the bloodletting when she's like, see, that wasn't so bad. And the guy's like, I messed up. And his arm's like a hot dog you warmed up in the microwave. It's just like,
Wait, I'm a little confused. Is this the one that starts out in the cold open with the pound of flesh trap?
No.
Okay.
That's also 7.
Okay. Ooh.
No, I'm sorry.
Boy.
That's not 7. That's 6.
6.
That's the healthcare one.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so Saw 5.
I see. It's in my notes.
I do got to say, the cool thing about this one, I like the reveal that at the end, if we had just worked together, these traps would have been super easy and we would have left with like not having to. But the whole thing was that we were all being selfish, and Jigsaw has taught us a lesson. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
2 of these people got out though. Did they change? I guess they probably did.
probably not.
It seems like Jigsaw in the universe of Saw, the Jigsaw is very successful. Like when people
in his rehabilitation program.
Yeah, when they escape, they all, they're a little bit crazy, but they're more thankful for what they have. It's really messed up.
What they're left with, anyways.
And you know what? The guy whose arm is all messed up, we do see him in 7. He's part of the rehab group.
Oh, yeah.
Weird.
There's that really interesting little rehab scene where it's just a bunch of people from past
The lady
movies.
with the in the abusive relationship is there as well.
Yeah, bunch of faces pop up from throughout the movies. I don't know. I mean, anything you guys have that...
Nah.
Not really
really,
much
man.
to say. It's just run-of-the-mill Saw movie. Really.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how much, for me, Strom and Hoffman don't work.
Yeah.
They look too similar. And they're both pretty flat guys. So when they're in a scene together, the whole thing is just deflated.
I just hate Hoffman on screen. So
5, I was thankful that I had watched it with you and Michelle, and that made it an experience and not just a straight up chore.
that would have been boring by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, I could see that. Yikes. Okay. Moving quickly. We're going to pick up the speed here.
Yeah, not much really.
And I forgot to mention, Saw 5 is actually kind of a one-off that it's David Hackle directing. He never returns.
We almost missed numbers for Saw 5.
Shoot.
So Saw 5 released in 2008. It's got a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb, a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, a little better. 92-minute runtime. The budget was $1,800,000. Had an opening weekend of $30 million. Man, my brain stopped working right now. It's all the confusion.
It's because
for
I
trying to get through
blew
this
your
one.
mind about what happened in that movie.
I can feel like how hard it is for me to read these notes that I have typed out. Opening weekend of $30,053,954 and a worldwide gross of $113,864,000. and $59.
Still not bad for the gross.
No, great return.
Okay. Well, it's slowing down though. You know what I mean? That is one thing you can't deny.
I mean,
which is how this works.
In real time, I stopped like paying attention to the series after like the third movie, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that's the same for me.
Yeah.
From just like a person who existed in the world at the time, it was kind of like, that was the point where you were like, another Saw movie?
Yes. And then it happened
5?
every year after that where I kept asking myself, another one?
Another one? How many of these are going to who's watching these movies? Us. Now we're reviewing them. Anyway, not at that time though.
No.
I didn't see any of these movies until 3 years ago.
Oh, Saw in general?
Oh, actually, I take that back. I saw Saw in high school.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah, I saw the first 3 and then the rest of them when we watched all the Saw films.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. Same.
Yeah.
And Sawfest.
Sawfest.
The original Sawfest.
Yeah, it's Sawfest Part 2. Okay, so next up is Saw 6, directed by Kevin Grutert. I don't know how to say his name.
I don't know.
Grutert. I'm going to throw this out there. I suggest we plug in that nice 4 spot with Saw 6.
I'd be super down for that. I very much enjoyed 6, and it was my natural 4.
It's my natural 4.
Saw 6 was my 3. So yeah, I did enjoy it.
Dang. All right. Fill in the holes. Okay, so let me get you with a quick synopsis, and then we definitely won't skip those numbers this time. Dead is...
we didn't skip them. We just delayed them a bit. We're professionals.
That's all.
It was intentional.
Oh, I'm sorry. We missed maybe the best thing about 5. Am I wrong here? Hang on.
When it's
Yes, we
over,
did.
you can get on to 6.
No, the end where Hoffman catches Strom in that trap.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty good. He
That's
gets Han
good
Solo'd.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets crushed. It's exact. Well, yeah.
Oh
Hoffman,
yeah.
Han
As he's
Solo's
getting
himself.
out of it. Yeah.
He gets trash compactored.
Oh,
Dang.
Han Solo was successful.
Yeah. In Star Wars,
Strom was not.
They just walk out the door. In Star Wars, the door's not even locked.
Strom tries to climb out and then he's like,
Yeah, Hoffman gets him with a good old Jigsaw reverse. Like,
You should have listened to the whole tape, stupid.
yeah. But that's how Saw 5 ends, which is maybe the best thing to say about that movie.
Just with Strom's. That's the one time I like Hoffman's smile when there's just blood raining down at him.
oh yeah, I forgot
That's
about
pretty
that,
good.
Yeah.
that ending's metal, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
But it's awesome because in 6, we start off with the aftermath of the scene, and we have a disgusting splattered Strom. Like, what a way to kick off your movie, saying this guy's dead.
In case you were wondering, he
Yeah.
did not make it through the last one.
Oh, is he going to be one of those characters who we catch up with later? Oh, no.
Oh, no, never
And
mind.
he's just in a
he's
wheelchair
gone.
all scrunched.
Okay, I have Saw 6, semicolon, this is the healthcare one.
Yeah.
We have...
Saw 6, semicolon, the Affordable Care Act.
Yes. We have William, the lone man, who's in charge of coming up with the system on who gets approved for healthcare coverage
The algorithm.
at their very non-suspicious sounding Umbrella Health.
Seems legit.
Yeah. Oh, this doesn't seem like a bad idea whatsoever.
Just name an umbrella.
The Umbrella Health Company. But anyway, throughout this movie, he's going to have to really come face to face with the decisions he's been making about valuing people's lives, which is really going to muck up this whole thing about Jigsaw valuing people's lives. This really muddies up the message.
Yeah.
But overall, an enjoyable movie. Oh, and you know what? I take this back. I did goof here, Frank, earlier. I goofed too. Saw 6 is the one where Hoffman's on the run from the 2 FBI.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Which I think you said it was 5, though, didn't you?
Originally, I thought it was 5, and then I was like, well, then it's 6. And you're like, no, it's 7. And then I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yes, this one
once
is
once he
6.
kills Strom, then he's like really got to cover his ass.
That's when they tell him that, like, the agent Perez, like, wasn't dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is why 6 is number 4 for me, because this is actually like a really interesting Hoffman storyline.
Yeah.
Like
it's
the
kinda
Hoffman
dope.
movies are pretty weak, but this is the strongest one out of them. And it feels exhilarating. You're like, because he keeps like backing himself into a
barely
corner.
getting out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
barely like, because he's trying to pin the whole thing on him now.
on Strom.
On Strom, because he's dead. They're not going to find his body. But yeah, it unravels.
Makes it easier to hide a body when you've compacted it like that.
Yeah, when it's just fleshy goop.
You can, like, roll it up.
Yeah. Tuck it under the sofa. Okay, so what's the numbers, numbers daddies?
This 2009 release scored a 6 out of 10 on IMDb, a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes with its exactly 90-minute runtime. They hit the formula on the head on this one.
Wow.
$11 million budget, had an open weekend of $14,118,444.
So it seems like people were willing to give it one more shot and watch it.
They did. But eventually they were like, this was not a trickle down, it was like a trickle out. The tap ran dry on this one. Scored a worldwide gross of $68,234,154.
Wow, when the entire world stops caring collectively.
Yeah.
So this is like you have your hardcore Saw fans.
Yeah.
They went to see it opening weekend. And then you got a couple people who are like, man, what else are we gonna do?
Well, I'm hearing different things about it. Might as well go check it out.
This is kind of a general statement, but when people around the world, like mostly with like even bad American movies, still devour it like nothing because it's better than most cinema around the world. But that says something.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to jump in like, let me watch the 6th movie in this franchise. You know what I mean?
Especially this franchise.
Yeah, this franchise, like Friday the 13th. You can watch any of them. You're not going to miss that much.
Yeah.
In Saw, you will not know what's going on if you start Saw 6 and you've never seen 1 through 5. It's going to be very confusing.
Wait, who's this old man behind everything?
Who's this guy in the flashback? Yeah,
it would be like picking up the John Wick series on the 3rd one where you'd still be like, whoa, that was kind of cool, but what is happening?
That was me through the entire John Wick series.
Okay, so, well, you know what? Let me just hit the kills right now. We have the predatory loan collectors. Or I guess they're not collectors. They're the predatory loan
lenders.
This is what I was talking
lenders.
about. The pound of flesh trap.
Yeah.
Pay a flesh race. This is good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is disgusting.
It is
dope
fantastic.
opening.
It's also really funny too because it's like this lady is super in shape. And then when they hear they got to cut stuff off, she looks over there and it's
just already
it's just a shot of this fat guy like grabbing his stomach.
He's already on it.
And then she even like looks down and she's like, what am I going to cut off?
What am I going to do with these washboard abs?
Yeah. But then she chops her arm off.
Smart move.
Right off.
That's the way to
Smart
go.
move.
You're getting that bone density in there.
That actress apparently won some VH1 like game show kind of thing called the Scream Queen. And that's how she got this role.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, she's really good.
She did a great job. Those screams were quite convincing.
They were very Queen-esque.
And the thing that's going to kill them is the screws turning slowly into their temples, right?
They're in a race, and if they don't do it, they'll...
What you're saying seems almost like it's a callback to the Frankenstein type.
Oh, yeah.
screws.
There's quite a bit of just like slow insertion in these movies. Which is gross.
Are we watching the same movie?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Slow insertion. Anyways.
Okay, so...
I think we do slow insertion on the next one too, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Fun.
So then we have William, the guy who...
Will.I.am.
Yeah, who works for Umbrella. We'll go ahead and call him William Wesker for this discussion here. And WW, he's got 4 tests to confront to show him the error of his ways. And test 1 is the breathing trap against the smoker, which this one seems messed up.
Yeah, that janitor seems like he never did anything to anybody, but who knows?
Well, this is Hoffman. So,
But wait, hang on. Yeah, this is Hoffman. But it's set up by... the plan is Jigsaw's.
Yes.
But Hoffman sets it in motion.
Actually puts him in motion, yeah.
So did Jigsaw like leave him the actual traps, or did he say, get these guys?
Yeah, this is who's next.
I would think Jigsaw would have to make the traps himself. He seems like a guy who goes out of his way to do that kind of thing.
Hoffman has a good enough sense of irony to set things up the way that they
Not
are.
a very smart guy.
Hoffman's not sure what irony means. He's like one of those guys who's using ironic instead of coincidental quite frequently. Yeah. So yeah, that one's kind of messed up. It's just like this poor guy's not gonna hold his breath as long. This
there's no way.
Out of shape smoker. He's not gonna be able to handle
Poor guy.
this healthcare dude. We have the second test, which is choose one to save: the healthy nobody with no family, or the middle-aged mom with a family history of diabetes.
Dude, I love like a lot of these traps, but
This one. It's hardcore.
That's the point in the movie where I was like, oh yeah, all right, I remember this one. Let's do this.
This is just like a philosophical journey. This movie's like The Good Place.
Yeah,
but,
dude.
Just really gory and violent.
Way less Ted Danson.
Yeah, way less Ted Danson.
I'm gonna have to deduct some points for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good in Ted Danson.
We'll keep it going. We have the third test, which is Freddy's boiler room. It looks like a nightmare.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Is this the carousel?
No.
Okay.
This is the lady who's crawling through that steam room.
Oh,
she's the lawyer.
The one where he has to like hold it open for
He's got to hold open a vent and take the steam hit himself, or she will be like wrecked.
And that one's got a nice twist at the end.
Yeah, she gets through the whole thing. They work together, but then the key is inside him, and she's ready to slice him open. So he ends up killing her. And that's how that goes down. And then lastly, we have the fourth test, the carousel.
Love it.
Which is 6 of his employees.
Yeah.
And he has to decide.
The dog pit.
In real time. Yeah. He has to decide in real time. He can only save 2 of them. So who's it going to be?
There's a pretty recognizable actor in the dog pit. Do you guys know which one I'm referring to?
I don't know if I can.
He is from television from our youth.
No, I'm not sure.
Don't know.
It's Steve Urkel's cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The African-American gentleman.
Dang, I missed that. And then I don't know if you would count it as a test, but we have the acid kill at the end. Or a trap necessarily. It's just really like a device that kills someone, but...
And it was basically just like, hey, lady, you can decide whether or not you want to kill this guy.
But it's gnarly. So I don't know. What's going on? What are your guys' opinions on good old 6 here?
I thoroughly enjoyed watching 6 this time around. I was super amped. Awesome kills, awesome traps, which, like as Danny mentioned in the Spiral CLE, is the reason for the season. We're coming for the traps, let's be honest. And this one knocks it out of the park, man. We're still doing really solid visuals here, where all the practicals look fantastic.
Yes.
Especially the aforementioned torso removing itself from the top half of the body due to the hydrochloric acid.
Yes.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
All the bullet points I have relate to the traps, to be honest. That is the saving factor for this entire movie. It's not a bad movie at all. It's better quality.
Heavy-handed with the messaging, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
I mean, they all kind of are heavy-handed with the messaging.
The lead's not terrible.
No, I think Williams gives a nice performance.
He's pretty good,
I
yeah.
heard he does a decent job.
Yeah, he really does.
And it's better than Strom. And the practical effects are really the reason for the season in this movie. It does sell it really well.
Ooh, and I like the twist that you think he's working towards his wife and kid this whole time, and then you find out no, this reporter is his sister. He killed this lady's husband.
Well, he didn't kill them, but he
sentenced him to death.
Yeah, he denied them health care. And they sentenced him to death.
Yeah,
they do.
In a gnarly Saw ending. Yeah, I really love this one. This is a really good one, especially after how 5 feels like such a drag and a letdown. It's nice to pick things back up with 6.
And then Hoffman goes full on killer at the end of this one, where he's straight up slaughtering fools. And then I did have one note about that when Agent Perez, their confrontation, when the moment it turns when they're, what are they doing? They're desynthesizing the voice, and it's the moment that they hear it's Hoffman, you know what I mean? And it just goes down. That. He slices homeboy's throat. He grabs that lab tech and uses her as a shield, and he the lights are out at this point, and Agent Perez just straight up pumps 3 rounds into this lab tech, which just I know we joke a lot on the channel, but that's why you should have a weapon mounted light so that you can know what you're shooting at.
Oh, interesting.
Always put a flashlight on your defense guns.
Huh. That's a good point. Yeah, you don't want to get caught with the lights off.
Yeah. Why are you shooting at what you can't see?
Well, you get some light off the shot. It's just very fast. You just got to hope. You got to put your face right next to the gun.
And you got to hope that other person isn't shooting and scooting.
Oh,
that they're
true.
camping.
But see, that's the...
You got to hope you're fighting a camper if that's your plan.
That's the play. Shoot and scoot.
Shoot, scoot, and
what was I going to say? Shoot, scoot, let me see. Oh, well, what I really love about that scene is that Hoffman's walking around the room. He's very tense because he's finally been backed into the corner. There's already a few things he's been caught with a surprise. He's not sure if he's going to get away with it. But while they're decoding this voice, the clip that they keep playing is right now you are feeling helpless. And that's the clip that just keeps getting played throughout the scene. And you can see Hoffman just really struggling.
He's like, oh, I do feel a little helpless.
And then he turns it on him. I mean, it's awesome. This is just an awesome, well-executed little action sequence. Maybe one of the best action sequences in the whole series.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. It's pretty exciting.
But yeah, great stuff. We have to mention that at the end, Hoffman gets placed into the head trap, but through clever thinking, manages to escape.
The bear trap.
The bear trap, sorry.
Right, yeah.
The reverse bear trap. There's like
Which is an awesome escape.
There's like a door with some bars on the window, and he sticks it in there so that it won't open all the way.
He actually outsmarts it.
He does, yeah. And then he ends up like ripping his face up really bad. It's an awesome last shot. It's just him like screaming with his face half ripped open.
And he survives.
Great flick. Yeah, he comes back for one last
Hoorah.
hoorah.
Oh, God. Now we got to move over to...
We got to move on to the next one. And it's also worth saying that like in this last movie, in 6, well, it's even more confusing because it really happens in 5 that Jill gets a box from John's will. And then in 6, she opens it in 5, but in 6 we learn what was in it, and it's folders labeled 1 through 7. And that the 7th folder will come into play in the next movie.
And isn't that on the nose? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, hey, they're labeled like the movies, you know what I mean? Folders 1 through 6 were just all the plot holes and retcons. They were like, here's your revised scripts for your first 6 movies.
I can't believe they get Jill to come back for so many too.
Oh, she's in a lot of them.
Anybody casted that person.
Yeah.
I was going to hold on it till we got into the final chapter, but I guess we're pretty much here.
We're getting into it.
Yeah. Russell is the actress name. She has probably the worst facial expressions in the game. And the only thing that's worse than her facial expressions is the way that she runs in action shots. She looks like somebody running in place in front of a green screen. It's so awkward and weird.
That's saying a lot.
I hate that
to
actress.
be said worse than like Strom and worse than Hoffman.
Terrible.
Yeah. You know
Garbage.
That is pretty intense.
Garbaggio.
Speaking of Garbaggio, what's this next one?
That's a segue.
Saw the final chapter.
Whoa. Saw 3D. The final chapter.
Is it?
The 7th movie.
I think they dropped the 3D. I think now it's just called the final chapter, but I'll go ahead and call it 3D. I'm down.
You got to call it 3D to explain why everything's like, whoa.
Oh, man, I got so many bullet points on that.
Okay.
I think this is my heaviest noted film in this series.
You know what? It might be mine too, actually.
I think so as well.
It is, yeah. I got to say, this Saw 7, directed by Kevin Gertert again. I have this ranked dead last.
This is my dead last.
This is my number 9.
Oh, it's my 8.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's interesting.
okay. So,
Well, I had 4 for my 9, so I'm totally cool.
Oh,
with
yeah,
putting it
that's
last.
Okay.
right. Okay. Well,
I was
here
like,
it
what
is.
do you think is worse?
Here we go. 7.
Ooh, sorry.
The final chapter. So yeah, this is the worst Saw movie according to us, somewhat
Definitive.
And, let's go ahead and get a quick little plot synopsis here. I literally watched this one yesterday, and I'm already like struggling just a little bit. Oh yeah. Okay.
This is the one with the whack intro.
This is the one. Oh yeah, it is a wet. It opens up with the aftermath of the first movie.
Yeah.
They have to. Why even bother showing the scene to reveal that Dr. Gordon is still alive? Like, it would have been a better twist if they just
At the
not shown
end.
him.
Yeah.
Because they're assuming we're a bunch of idiots, so they
Yeah.
hand feed everything.
Well, you're
to
an
us.
idiot to
Yes.
go back to Saw 7, right?
So they're not wrong.
Yeah.
So they're not wrong. The big plot of this one is that Sean Patrick Flannery plays Bobby, the other Boondock Saint, the one who's not
Yes.
Daryl. He is
The one who wanted to bring the rope.
Yes, the one who wanted to bring the rope, if you remember correctly. He's the one, in this movie, he writes a memoir because he escaped a Jigsaw trap. And he's going all over doing press tours and stuff. But then we find out that he's a big old liar.
Well, it's like an Oprah Million Little Pieces kind of thing.
It's exactly,
Which happened
yeah.
4 years before the release.
Oh, how funny. So it's like really on the
Yeah.
nose with this little reference here. But yeah, it ends up just being, people who are listening, what do you think is going to happen to this guy? He's making up that he's a Jigsaw victim, obviously. You know what I mean?
Jigsaw will probably be fine with that. He'd
Jigsaw's
probably just
like-
ignore him.
Yeah.
Not
or in
even
this
on
case,
his radar.
In this case, Hoff Daddy. He's going to be fine with it, which It is Hoffman, right? Who's doing this?
It's Jigsaw. You find out later that Jigsaw like met him. Like he decided this guy was on his list while he was still alive. While he still had the flavor saver, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. See, this is
pre-3.
It's just so convoluted.
Oh, this is the most Limp Bizkit.
Yes,
Jigsaw.
this is the most Limp Bizkit he is.
And also the most Linkin Park.
Oh my God, that's another one.
You're right. Okay, so Frank, why don't you give us these numbers for 7? Let's figure out why they stopped at this movie.
Somehow, this 2010 release has a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb. I don't even think they watched it. They were just like, it's probably like a 5.6 like the rest of them, right? Which it is not. I'd have to agree with Rotten Tomatoes score a little bit more at the 10% that it
That's
received.
more like it.
And it's a 90-minute runtime. Budget of $20 million, which now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure I messed up my notes on the last one. I'm pretty sure it was $18 million and not $1,800,000. Fat fingered that one a little bit.
That's okay.
Revised, retconned. Boom. Opening weekend of $22,530,123 with a worldwide gross of $136 million.
Wow, they got back on it.
151. Well, it's because they lied and they were like, "This is the last one. You got to see it." And then they reunion toured us, man, or like farewell tour, and they came back and did it all over again. Those jerks. But yeah, $136,151,680 for the worldwide gross on this one.
Okay.
Which is weird that they spent that much money on this one because it's definitely got the worst fake blood in this entire series. It's like watery and bright. Like,
yeah.
The production quality is like one of my biggest bullets on this movie. Is like, wow, this is bad.
Yeah.
And Billy looks terrible in this movie. They changed the design like completely. I mean, I know they were shooting it for 3D, but like the depth on like not 3D just looks so bad.
And you get a bunch of really bad CGI when they're adding the 3D effects.
Even like the saw throw at the end of it, like totally not necessary. The Home Improvement 3D event in the 90s was more enjoyable than this movie was.
There was one scene in the movie where the 3D looked like, okay, this is worth. Most of it was just like, oh, there's an explosion.
Oh, some shrapnel came at me. Wow.
But there's one where there's like a trap where this like things are coming into this lady's eyes and it keeps cutting back to it, getting closer. That's pretty good. Yeah, this is definitely...
That's the slow insertion trap.
Yes.
So there's two slow insertion traps in this one.
They really go slow
the
with
lasers.
So I don't mean to steal your trap thunder there.
Well, speaking of which, let's trap Daddy right now real quick. I have trap ? Hoffman murders Jill with the train track device in her dream. I just wanted to include it because it was so gnarly.
That was pretty cool. That might be the best death in here.
Yeah, it could be. Well, let's find out. No, it's not. But it's pretty close. We'll argue about it right now. Then I have Chester! ! This guy's glued to a car seat. He's a white supremacist.
This is a cool trap, though.
This is a cool trap.
I was going to say that's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, he's glued to the seat. He has to rip himself off before the car lands on his girlfriend's face.
Yeah.
Drives off, pulls his friend apart.
We should mention also racist.
Yes.
And who we should mention also racist.
And then runs into another friend on the wall.
Also racist.
All white supremacists.
Yes. Kind of sad, though, that Chester's dead.
Yeah. As soon as he showed up on screen and he was all glued and everything, I was like, crawling in my skin.
Wounds.
Well, he obviously didn't learn the value of life from Jigsaw's trap.
Wow. You had to go there, didn't you?
Those wounds would not heal.
We were having such a good time, Frank. You had to take it there. We miss you,
Gnarly,
Justin.
though.
We miss you. Anyways. We have the Lawnmower Trap flashback. When we go to the survivors group, we're going to see a couple quick little flashbacks. And one of these was just like they're hanging over a bunch of lawnmowers turned upside down.
Playing,
and it's just like...
what do you used to call it when you were like a kid? Like a monkey
bars?
Monkey bar war? Well, king of the... Man, we used to have a name for it when you would hang on the monkey bars and try to kick the other person off.
See, I don't remember doing that.
But one of our friends we grew up with sustained a pretty terrible injury from.
Well, this is why they stopped having monkey bars, though. You know what I mean? They were like, kids are going to hurt themselves more.
I never played that game.
Frank did all the dangerous games. That's why he's falling apart now.
Most of my childhood games were like, who can take the most punishment?
You would have done great and Saw. Then we have trap ? A cage hanging over spikes. This is when Bobby's game starts. He's literally just put in a cage that opens up and there's spikes underneath of him. It's like, I guess this is a trap.
It's like Under pressure, can you remember how a pendulum works?
Yeah, right.
Can you remember the laws of inertia?
Well, the funny thing is he's like kind of lowering himself out of this cage, and you can see that he could easily just lower himself a little bit more and just stand on the floor. The spikes are like pretty far apart that he could just carefully put his feet between the spikes. He'd be fine. Is it weird?
Well, it takes more upper body strength than you would imagine to carry your entire body,
That's true.
With just your arms.
That is true. But it just seems like in the movie it is set up that he's pretty strong. Like they're going to show it over and over again that he has some pretty decent arm strength. I don't know. It's definitely easier than hoisting yourself. But anyways, we'll get there. All right. So we get into this whole thing now. His main trap, he's going to have to either save or watch die all the people who've worked with him to make this lie come true.
Which is not really their fault.
No, like a lot.
Well, I mean, a lot of them were complicit in the lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they knew.
But you know what? I guess they all had to have known. Maybe the publicist didn't, though. Like you know that the publicist and his friend did because they were at the bar together.
Yeah.
But
And the lawyer knew because he mentions like she swore an oath to uphold the law, but uphold your lies. Yeah.
But I mean, that is lawyer though. Lawyers sometimes represent people who are lying.
Lawyer.
That's how it works. You can't get mad at a lawyer for lying.
We've seen Devil's Advocate. We know how lawyers work.
Ridiculous. Anyway, so we have Bobby's publicist. There's a device that is going to silence her. This is the slow insertion.
The fish trap one, right?
Yeah, with the decibel
Fish
meter.
hook. I'm sorry.
That was my cringe moment on this one.
This
But
one's
I was
rough
like,
to watch.
This is a
when
rough
the
one.
chunk
When he's
comes
pulling,
out?
yeah.
There's a key on a string that's been dropped down her throat, and they have to pull it out. But there's a hook on the end of the string too, and then she's screaming, and these things are coming from the side.
Every
They're gonna
time.
stab
Yeah,
her
there's
in
like
the
a
throat.
decibel meter that moves them forward every time she makes a sound louder than a whisper.
This one's just messed up. Okay, what else do we got? Then after that we have Joyce. This is the lawyer, right?
Joyce?
He just has to lift up. It's like a squatting machine at a gym. You have to get under it and like lift up.
But instead of being on flat ground, he's like on his tippy toes on a bar, and he's being stabbed in his shoulders and in his
from
sides.
the sides. The longer he holds it up,
Like having two Joaquin Phoenixes in Gladiator, like on either end.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's
Giving you that
rough.
little jabby jab.
that is rough. Okay, this is the one I was talking about too. While he's got to hold it up to stop this timer, and this like gouging device is coming towards her eyes and mouth, and he doesn't make it.
Shaped like the holes on a coconut, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Then we have. Wait, where are we at? I lost. I scrolled down so
weird
far.
random fact, random tangent.
yeah.
Did you guys know there's like a Hawaiian La Llorona, and it's the explanation for why the coconuts look like that? Like it's like her wailing
Interesting.
face.
Ooh,
Fun
that
fact.
is interesting.
I'm gonna have to look that up. That's cool.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. La Llorona, not just for Mexicans.
The lady.
That's awesome.
The lady in white's the other, like the East Coast version of that, isn't it?
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Something like that. The last one we have is Bobby's. Well, not the last one, but the last of his crew is Bobby's like best friend who's blindfolded and hanging from a noose. And he has to navigate this room that doesn't have floors, and he's just got to tell him where to go. It's like a really messed up like church Bible camp.
Yeah. This is the one where you're just like rooting for them to just be better. Just be
Yeah.
better. Like communicate
Well,
better.
and they're not bad, but the messed up part at the end is that he has to throw the key to a blind man.
Yeah.
And that's just messed up. How are you ever going to escape
Probably
that?
could have figured out another way.
Yeah,
Like
just,
use the string to swing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the point in the movie where I wrote this note down that the storytelling and dialogue definitely get worse as the franchise goes on. Like Bobby keeps calling him buddy, like, don't worry, buddy, I'm coming, buddy. And he keeps mentioning things like after he dies, he's like, all you had to do was listen for me once. And I'm like, when did we establish
Yeah.
that this is how this relationship worked?
No, you're looking for some kind of exposition. There's none of that. There's none of that.
No exposition, only showing us in flashbacks how everything went down.
The final thing is the trap that Bobby lied about. Bobby says in the movie that he put these hooks through his own pecs and then pulled himself up and freed himself that way. And he tries to do it, and in the movie he gets pretty far up there. He's almost got it, but it literally rips through his pecs. He falls, and then his wife gets like brass bulled, is what this is called, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Raisin bull.
She's burned alive, like cooked alive.
broiled even.
This was my favorite to kill. I thought it was so gnarly when that whole machine comes out. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know. The car thing is super cool.
That car thing
awesome.
Is
so cool.
Like,
that is
now
probably
I'm
my
thinking
favorite
about it,
part.
That might be my vote for the favorite kill.
Just
That's
that
good.
moment where the car falls and just smashes that girl's face. And
Yes,
just,
dude, it's so messed up.
I love Chester's screaming. Like,
yeah,
he
it
really
sounds
gets
good.
it.
He's
It
really
sounds
good in pitch too.
I will just add that there's kind of two other like side traps,
Ooh,
and
what did I
that's
miss?
the bomb that he sets up for the that he uses as a distraction to steal one of the bodies. I'm referring to Hoffman.
That's right.
And then there's the Heisenberg machine gun that he sets up for the cops.
Yes, I wasn't sure if I should include that one. I was like, is this a saw trap or a booby trap?
So I'll like
Did we-
asterisk.
did we
but
talk about
Jigsaw does booby trap.
yeah, he
things.
does do booby traps.
Did we talk about the cheating one where like it's like that love triangle? And I think it's the beginning.
We
right?
like glanced over it.
You know what?
Right.
I did miss that. That's the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, we're like he's like trying to save his babe, and then he finds out like his best friend's with.
So I got big problems with that scene too. Like somebody obviously had to set this up like
Right.
in the middle of the night of this bustling metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And then we come into it when people are starting to gather, but you're telling me everybody else who had passed it previously was just like, whatever, I got stuff to do.
Yep.
Like,
Well,
I don't
maybe
have time
they were
for this.
like, is this some kind of weird installation?
Yeah, like an art.
Like, what are the liberals doing now?
Yeah, is this where's the closest like arts college? That's the question.
I guess it's probably relying on like you're saying like.
Well,
that-
there is the bystander effect. A
Yeah,
lot of
that's
people
what I was
don't
gonna
notice
say.
things. Yeah.
Or they'll just believe something's not actually happening.
Yeah.
Because someone else will take care of it. Right.
Well, my biggest problem with this scene is that this lady who's hanging from the ceiling is wearing this like leather harness, but it's cut just to expose her breasts.
Yep. It's literally just.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Well, we've already established boobies earlier in the franchise, so
I guess that's
we're
true.
at this point already.
We're at this point.
If
know
anything, this movie should have had more breasts.
They know what the
Breasts
audience
is-
is here for.
Breasts.
The Saw audience, at least.
But are they though? Like most of the movies don't have nudity in them.
No, it's like that one really.
Yeah.
now that I think of it. Well, there's
There's-
like we get corpse boobies, but there's nothing fun about corpse boobies.
Not to you.
Although 13 Ghosts, those are some pretty
Those
good
are some
corpse
nice-
boobies.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know you
I don't
know.
remember.
That's a great movie. CLE coming soon.
Right after our Final Fantasy Spirits Within CLE.
Well, right after Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
and then we'll do
Three Kings.
Three Kings,
And then
we'll
next
get to
up,
13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts.
Oh, it's gonna be a birthday pick for me.
That's obviously the order. I'm just gonna pick Final Fantasy Spirits Within for the next like 5 years for my birthday pick. Revisited CLE. Here we go. Okay. I mean, dang. We already talked about how awful this movie looks. I mean, the movies were getting cheaper in appearance, but this one looks straight up like bargain bin at Walmart, like right next to the magazines when you're checking out.
It's really, really bad. I'm pretty sure we had one scene in the zombie movie that we made in high school that was god awful, but I'm pretty sure the practical effects we did with the meat and the fake blood when we were ripping my brother John apart, I'm pretty
good.
sure that looked better than the blood in this movie.
That's rough. I wish I could see this movie.
It's
Come on,
lost
guys,
in
get on it.
times
It's
forever.
actually
man.
on physical media.
Yeah.
You guys can find it. You have to search.
We put it on one of those mini DVDs, like that thing's
Oh, yeah.
gone, man.
We'll transfer it. You just got to find it.
I feel so bad for the people that went to see this thinking it was the final chapter and just like leaving after seeing that. Woo!
Yeah, that's true, right? Well, this is in my mind, this is the final chapter because I feel like Jigsaw
Yeah.
tries to do kind of the same thing. It's not quite. This is like the end of this saga of this one straight told story, which is
we'll put an
ambitious
asterisk
idea.
on straight.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, exactly. I gotta say though, the performances in this movie, we trashed some performances earlier. Oh my God, Matt Gibson from Internal Affairs. This dude has the worst performance in any of these movies. I can't stand
Worse
this
than
guy.
Jill Tuck?
Yes, like by 10 times. There's scenes where they're both in it together, and you're almost vomiting. You're almost like not able to hold down whatever.
This dude.
He's awful.
We're talking about like the FBI, like the
Yes.
lead FBI
This
guy, right?
guy
main cop of
is
this
in
movie.
Final Destination.
Yes, he is.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's in, which one is it? The first one.
The first one.
Yeah, he's in the first one.
He's a Billy.
He's a lot better in the first one.
Well, he
is in
dies
this
in the first
movie.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I do
guess
have one small like gun guy note for this one. I thought it was funny. I had him like 2 in a row.
What's up?
But Hoff gets that shot on the agent that's guarding Jill Tuck through the two-way
Yeah.
mirror. straight into his eyeball. There's no way. A glass does really crazy things to the bullet trajectory. He maybe if he two-shotted, first one through the glass goes into the wall somewhere crazy weird.
Yeah.
Second one he could have gotten. There's no way he's getting that clean shot.
But what if he just wasn't aiming well?
Like he was aiming at his belly button, and then that's where. Well, as we know, you got to go for the crotch. Yeah. So I rescind. Yeah, he was probably aiming for the crotch, got the eye.
We'll go back and review the tape and make sure we can see where he was aiming.
We'll take it to the tape. Instant replay.
I got to say, Sean Patrick Flannery's not too bad. I mean,
like in general,
he's a pretty good lead. I mean, he's pretty bad. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Boondock Saints 2, but it's real rough.
Yo, Boondock Saints 2 is fun. In no way a good movie, but it's got a whole ton of fun to it.
Oh man, yeah, but he's not very good in that movie. Although, yeah, there is some enjoyable stuff.
He's almost as bad as
Boondock
Jeff. He's actually a little worse than Jeff.
I would prefer him to Jeff.
Yeah. Really?
Man, you guys really hate Jeff?
Jeff. Oh, I hate Jeff. Jeff for me sticks out as being way too bad to be that early in the Saw franchise.
Yeah.
Like he belonged in this later half.
Yes.
Yeah, he would have been better in this movie.
Yeah. They should have got Sean Patrick Flannery for Saw 3.
Could have seen that.
And it would have been a better role. They should have got Norman Reedus for Saw 3. Anyone.
Oh,
put Norman Reedus anywhere.
That would have been sweet.
Yikes. He's what's it called? Jeff. I just hate Jeff so much. I need to see if I've seen him in anything else. I don't know if I have.
I'm going to look right now.
I hate this guy. I hate this guy so much. I don't know. I mean, I don't really have much more to say. What can you say about a movie that just looks bad, is written bad, is performed poorly, like
terrible execution, terrible plot? Like, I can't get over how bad that blood looked. Like, it's like almost pink. And you can see it especially in the scene where where Bobby is putting the hooks into his chest. Like, you can see water around it.
You can see the prosthetic too.
Yeah,
you can see where he's stabbing
horrible.
through. It looks awful.
So Jeff,
shame on you. Shame on you, Saw 3D.
Jeff's actual name is Angus McFadden. He's a Scottish actor from.
Sounds about right.
His first film was Braveheart. He was Robert the Bruce. I don't know.
Are you saying Brave Heart or Brave Fart?
Brave Fart.
Okay.
Okay. I haven't seen that one.
Let's see. Cradle Will Rock.
Nope.
No.
Fatwa. I'm just kidding.
Fatwa.
But not Fatwa.
The musical?
The musical. Yeah. Let's see. Saw 3. Saw 4. We Bought a Zoo.
Oh, God.
Timeless. The Lost City of Z.
Nope.
And that's it. That I can recognize at least.
Gross, dude. No, thank you. Get out of here, Jeff. I hate you.
Yeah,
I want you to die.
I'm not down for him.
He's in quite a bit of Californication. He's in 6 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's weird because we're going to get another Californication actor in Jigsaw.
Well, you know what else is funny? This movie's got 2 Final Destination alums because Joyce, the wife, is in Final Destination 3.
Huh.
Okay.
There's a couple Final Destination.
David, I do have a meme edit to propose to you. Can we edit? There's a point where he's like, Joyce, can we edit the mom from Just Friends in there with the Joyce? Joyce?
Oh, we can definitely do that.
Yeah,
I'll even add in some Joyce from Stranger Things if I can. I'll go 3 Joyces deep on this one.
Let's go.
I'm pretty sure we have what's his face? Samwise Gamgee saying Joyce a couple times in that phone.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Well, send me your clips of Joyce being said into a phone.
We got this.
All right, I'm done talking about this movie. Can we please move on to Jigsaw?
Let's do.
All right, where are we putting Jigsaw, guys? We have 2 spaces left. We have the 8th ranked spot, and we have the 6th ranked spot.
Jigsaw's my number 8.
And Frank
honestly
is saying 6.
Enjoyed Jigsaw more than Spiral.
Interesting.
I'm going with Frank on this one, man.
Interesting.
I am probably never going to watch Spiral again.
Yeah.
When finishing Spiral, I was like, this is the worst one.
Yeah.
And then after rewatching all of them, I was like, there's a couple that are worse than this.
I felt like angry drunk, and I wasn't drunk.
That's a good way to put it.
I think it took time to stew for me. Like after I left Spiral, I was like, okay, that wasn't that bad. Except for that laughable ending. Like that was a hilarious ending.
The laughable ending and all the unlaughable comedy.
All the unlaughable, yeah, the unintentionally bad, funny ending. And then after stewing over it for a while and like realizing that Max Minghella is like, I mean, I knew you could call it from so far.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to say, a little peek behind the curtain, you nailed Minghella right now.
Oh,
hey, thank you.
nice.
You didn't even try.
Nice. No, you didn't even try. If we're saying it correctly. Did we ever look it up?
I could definitely concede putting Spiral down there. I am so apathetic to where these two line up.
That's how I feel about a lot of this series, to be honest.
Who cares about the last two songs?
As I was like finalizing my list, I was like, I don't think I'm going to argue too hard for anything, really.
You know what's funny? Like, I was so excited to do this ranking until we started doing the ranking.
Yeah,
and then I was like, oh my God.
Where do I put all this garbage stuff?
I have my 3 at the top, but what do I do after that? Okay, so Jigsaw is directed by the Spyrig brothers. What's the plot of Jigsaw?
They're twins. Isn't that weird?
Are they really?
Yeah.
Aren't they the dudes that write Spiral too?
Yes, they are. They're like kind of helming this new.
This makes so much sense.
No, they're
they're not the
directors only do Jigsaw. It's the same writers for both of them.
That's
Josh
right.
Stolberg and Pete Goldfinger.
That's what I said.
No, but the Spyrig brothers are different guys. They're just the directors, and they don't come back on.
They have the same DNA, but they're not the same person.
Yeah.
So they just write Spiral.
And they're 2 separate people.
No. They have nothing to do with Spiral.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They directed Jigsaw, and then they went to go do whatever else they were doing.
And then
other
Bowsman,
like weird
so-
horror movies
okay.
from what I saw on IMDb.
I'll just say this right now. Jigsaw and Spiral are kind of the same movie.
They're both
Are
like
they?
in the way that they're both like resurgences of a series. Like
I just
they're
feel like
they're both like soft reboots.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
But it's just like,
soft reboots.
It's because Jigsaw didn't take off. That's why they had a soft reboot.
and that's what, it's a soft reboot, and you're right. It's like the same thing, and it just kind of seems like where the direction's going to be going from here on out. It's just like, who is copycatting Jigsaw?
Yeah, well, the problem with Saw is they've really written themselves into a box because they've killed everyone.
into like a box rigged with some weird
With some,
like pointy thing.
You have like
that's
20
gonna-
seconds to, I mean, Dr. Gordon, I guess, could come back.
Yeah. He
That's-
didn't get caught.
And if anything, I was like, man, in 7, when he showed up and he's cackling in the background, I'm like, dang, why didn't they just get this guy
Right?
for the last 3 movies?
He did great.
You know,
Cary
it's
Elwes
super
Zans
weird.
too much money, I'd say.
Yeah, that's what it was. They didn't have Cary Elwes money. That high-paid actor everyone knows about.
They were just like, hey, we'll give you $5 million to laugh in this last scene.
They're like, guys, Hoffman will literally do it for free.
There's been a super weird thing happening in my head this whole time, and it's really making me giggle. So I feel like I have to mention it. But I know we just finished watching all these movies. I know like the actor who plays Dr. Gordon, but every time we say Gordon, I picture Emilio Estevez in the Mighty Ducks. I keep getting a flash of his head, and he's right there.
Oh, that's what you've seen it for. Yeah, that's where it's coming up at. Okay, so I'm gonna try, guys. I'm gonna try
Give it a
and
shot,
you the
man,
plot
like-
for Jigsaw. It's so convoluted.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a copycat Jigsaw killer.
Wait, is this Spiral?
This is Jigsaw.
I know.
I'm gonna. I'm just gonna present. It's because the spoilers mess it all up too. But
Definitely.
let's just put it this way. There are people trapped in a barn, which already is an interesting, totally separate kind of setup. We have people trapped in a barn who need to go through and complete some trials as usual. Kind of similar to some of the earlier, group trap ones. And running parallel to this story is a couple cops, one of them being Halloran, Detective Halloran, and the other main person being the coroner, Logan, the doctor,
forensic examiner,
the guy who works with the dead bodies, but
and a
also
super cute dark assistant.
Yeah, right, Eleanor.
Yes.
Yes, Eleanor. They are chasing this copycat killer, but also at the same time, Halloran is expecting that Eleanor is the killer, but Eleanor is really just a Jigsaw super fanatic.
But also they keep finding like John's DNA, and they're like, "What? He's dead though, right?"
Yeah.
Right.
And then we find out that, oh my God, that Logan was in the trap that we're seeing in the movie.
Yes.
And then those scenes of the movie are really taking place 10 years ago. And they are
They're like one of the OG
we're
Saw
assuming
victims.
after Cecil. Like this is what
One of
comes
his
next.
first victims. Yeah.
Because she mentions on that super cool like spinny trap, like they
that was
found
cool.
blueprints for it, but apparently he did it before any of his other victims, and they never found the bodies. You didn't move the bodies.
So this is you juiced him. Sorry, I'm just gonna start going all the
Stupid line of Tremors is gonna be part of my vernacular for the rest of my life.
You juiced him. I just gotta say though, this is a rare both prequel and sequel.
Yeah.
This movie takes both sides of the timeline here and handles it quite capably. Frank, give us the numbers.
Oh boy, this 2017 release scored another round 5, 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb and a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 92-minute runtime. And I gotta say, it doesn't feel long at all. I feel like pacing is not a problem that we have in Saw movies. They're all, you just kind of go through it.
They're too short to complain about it.
Yeah, true. Made on a budget of $10 million, had an opening weekend of $16,740,452, and had a worldwide gross of $102,952,888.
Not too shabby.
Pretty good return on 10 million.
Yeah.
Make 10 times your money,
I do
a little
remember
bit
hearing
extra.
when this came out that like everyone was like, it's not bad. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Well, that's how you get a little bit of hype. Is 7-year gap between the travesty that was Saw 3D, the final chapter, and then the next chapter.
We need to make a list and rank all of the horror movies that are called the final chapter that aren't the final chapters.
That's a good one coming up soon.
That's what I want to do.
We'll call
Halloween.
it like the false finale ranking.
Yes. I love
Faux
it.
finale.
The
Faux is a little bit better.
Yeah. The faux final chapter ranking.
Yeah, we'll figure out how to get it more alliterative. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Faux final.
The phonal chapter.
Okay. Here's your kills for this movie. Quite a simple movie, actually, and I think have really dialed it back. They were like, you know what? We were getting too crazy.
Which is kind of weird because that's the thing that gets me amped up about the progression of Saw is like at a certain point you're really off the rails, man.
Yeah. Well, you do get a taste of it right at the end when they explain what is going on.
True.
But for most of the movie, it's pretty restrained. It's a simple 5 people. We have there's 4 main survivors. A purse snatcher, the guy who's responsible for his friend's death. He's just all around a jerk. He ignores his wives and his ex-wife and all that. We have Mitch, who sold a bum motorcycle and killed some guy. And then we have Anna, who used to be Jigsaw's neighbor, who killed her baby and framed her husband and subsequently caused her husband to kill himself.
Wow.
This is dark path they're going down on this one. But anyway, 4 of them, plus a mystery 5th guy who we think is
Who never got
killed.
the bucket off his head.
Yeah, we think he's dead at the beginning of the movie. We find out he's not.
Much like Saw 1.
Saw banana. Yeah, so they're chained to a wall that will slice them up unless they get these helmets off. And this is very similar to an earlier trap, but this time they just have to cut themselves a little bit.
They just need a little bit of blood sacrifice.
Now, I don't know how this blood sensor works. I don't know,
I bet it's a pressure
Jigsaw?
sensor on the blades themselves.
I guess, yeah.
I bet you the blades like feel the pressure change.
But you would think, what if I throw my chain against it? You know what I mean?
Nobody tried that. No, somebody did, and it did like a crazy jerk.
So what is it? Is it Jigsaw watching in a room? And
You
he's
know
hitting a
what?
button?
There are saws set up to detect
Ooh.
flesh instead of like other
Really?
materials.
And to stop
but
immediately?
yeah, it's like a safety thing. It's really crazy. Like as soon as it feels like something too soft, it just stops. It's got like this automatic brake to it.
Well, that's cool.
So I imagine it's something kind of like that.
It's probably just one of those saws repurposed. We have the needles, one with acid, one with saline, and one with antidote. And they stick it in this kind of purse snatcher, druggy looking lady. We have the leg wire trap, which this one is literally a trap. Like this guy falls into the trap.
Well, it was like a punishment.
It was a
He wasn't
punishment.
supposed to do what he did, and he knew he was going to do that.
And then he did it, and yeah, Jigsaw's always 5 steps ahead. Then we have the silo trap with the falling objects. Probably one of the more exciting moments
Pretty
of the
cool.
movie.
When it's grain, it's like, I mean, yeah, you're gonna slowly suffocate. That's not that bad. And then it starts throwing like knives and pitchforks and stuff. And you're like, all right, here we
That's
go.
pretty
Now we
sweet.
got a saw trap.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm betting like they just had like a group meeting, like come in on Monday and like have like some of the traps that we can do in this movie. And some guy was just like super hungover and was just like, how about a silo with some grain? And then some guy had to come in and just like knives.
Knives.
Throw knives in there too. Saved it.
Plus
yeah,
knives.
I was gonna say knives. I just didn't get there.
And then we have the spinning heat spiral tube.
Oh yeah, the one on the blueprints, right?
Yeah, the one that's shown a lot in this movie, which should have been in the movie Spiral.
And I don't think the first time I saw this, I was pretty sure those like the bladed turbine thing was heated, but I think they were just painted red so he know what he had to like avoid.
Okay, I think that's what it is. It's
because I noticed when it was stationary, they're still red, like when it's just off.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so it's not heated.
Plus, it keeps him on brand with the spiral. You know what I mean?
We have the backwards gun puzzle.
That is dope.
Yeah, that was a good.
Oh, you messed up.
It was your key to freedom, stupid.
And then I guess it doesn't really count, but also the head laser contraption at the end, which
cheesy as hell, man.
It's gnarly though.
I mean,
the way
cool,
his like head opens up, like one of those candied. Oh, and this is our other Californication character, Lou Ashby.
Yes.
But yeah, the way it opens up like one of those fancy chocolate oranges.
Mm-hmm.
So funny.
I mean, what a twist! This is definitely like a what a twist moment, but like, but the way he does it, I'm just like, shut the f*** up. Like, when he's just like, oh yeah, my lasers were underpowered. I just pretended to be dead.
Well, they were just like fun lasers, like the kind you ruin a presentation with. You know what I mean?
And here's my blood packets. Let me show you my blood packets I had in my necklace. I got you.
I'm just like, that's a cheap guy.
The one point I was still on board was when he looks at the ceiling on the other side and he's like, wait, what?
We're talking about Logan right now, who is the coroner, who is so obviously the bad guy.
Yeah.
The entire, even worse than Spiral does it.
Definitely.
This is the worst that they've tried to hide someone being evil, but he's being chased by Halloran and he ends up catching Halloran. And we don't have to get into the details because it's so stupid, but it's like he has to make sure that his assistant leaves so that she will see that Halloran was there and confirm that really he didn't kill him. It was just Jigsaw put him in this trap. It's so messy.
Super convoluted.
But we just learned that Logan this whole time has been working with Jigsaw and that he's been building the traps, like doing a lot of the Jigsaw.
He's been doing some of the other medical heavy lifting.
Jigsaw is just, not really doing much is what we learn. Every movie that goes
the key
by,
to success, you surround yourself with good people and then some terrible ones also.
But
they also expect you to believe that everyone's just as good of like an industrial engineer as like John Kramer was.
Well, that's the thing too. In the earlier movies, they really make it seem like, oh, John Kramer is able to do this because he's an engineer, because he's a great mind or whatever. But then we just kind of learn that like, no, it's just really a bunch of other people that he's outsourced this work to.
Yeah.
If anything, this is just kind of a crazy guy.
Yeah.
But
well, that's how like a building goes. The architect doesn't build the building. He just hands you the plans.
Just leaves the blueprints around.
I smacked your guy's camera really bad.
Okay, we'll go shaky cam for a second. Whoa!
We'll do a saw cut.
You wouldn't steal a car. But yeah, we learned that Logan is the one who messed up John's x-rays, and if they had caught it,
he mixed up the labels on the x-rays.
Yeah. And it's like
he never actually had it.
But let me get this straight then. So then the guy who thought he had cancer never found out, oh, I don't have cancer, and never went back and said, hey guys, you messed up. This tumor is not actually there. Like
the chemo might have killed him.
But this they just went straight to chemo. There was no second opinion or anything.
They never tried to get another x-ray after that either. Pretty sure when you get cancer, you have a lot of x-rays.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It just doesn't make sense.
Constant MRIs.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, and then I have to put this in here too. Towards the end of the movie, we have Jigsaw saying this. We can, and this is how I have it written. It's in quotation marks. We can never come from anger or vengeance. Hypocrite ass Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Like what?
Straight up murder Cecil.
Dude,
exactly. That was straight up vengeance.
There are so many instances in these movies where you're literally
even
doing
like
this.
What's his face? This doctor, you know what I mean? He made a mistake, which I guess is why John kind of picks him up and takes him in. Like, I might have been a little bit too rash on this one. This guy made an honest mistake.
What about the way he's treated Hoffman and Amanda?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's essentially killed them after using them. Like, this is so ridiculous.
Well, they lost the message, David. That's not how you're supposed to murder people. You're supposed to murder people this way.
Yeah.
Let them murder themselves.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Jigsaw. What a clown. So I don't know. For me, this movie is not great. I would not choose to watch this again. Unless we do another ranking. I don't know why we would. But yikes.
It's going to be several years until that point.
Yeah, I'm not itching.
We're going to have to be pretty low on content.
Yeah, there's only a couple of these movies I'd be down to watch again at some point. And I really think only one like within this year. That's the only one I could see myself watching in the next 6 months.
You know, the original 7, with the caveat that I'm only watching 7 because it's so bad. You know what I mean? I probably just skip
like
5.
As a drinking game, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's see how terrible this movie is. But most of those other beginning ones I enjoy. I mean, Jigsaw, it's just a big old cup of meh.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Whatever. All right, shall we finish this, guys?
Moving on.
Let's kick it over to Character Limit Extended.
Nailed it.
I think I'm like the first time that no one's like jumped in on it. I think I threw you guys off.
Weirdly felt it, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah. I was going to let this one be pure.
It was pure. So we're talking about Spiral. This was our last CLE, and it's our last movie on our ranking, and quite anticlimactically, we already know where it's going to be. We have it ranked 8.
Our timeline of our ranking and our character limit exceeded just happened to be going parallel at the same time.
It was like a Saw movie. Yeah. It's like twist.
Whoa, the CLE and the podcast happened at the same time.
And then like Brandon shows up.
It looks like we're here recording this right now, but we're actually still in the shed.
Dang.
Danny and I are still trapped in there.
And Eric kicks off another game show. No, anyways.
Ooh, speaking of which, Eric was actually telling me he's like in the works of round 4.
Round 4.
And he's going to do a deep dive on like the channel specifically.
I got to say, I feel even more spiteful because I had that point in that episode and Eric was literally like, no, I already called her for Danny. And Frank was like, I can see it. Like, it was David first. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure said it was. No, yeah, it was David first.
It was a 1 point difference.
If it makes me feel any better, I lost a point because of it.
No, he didn't actually take your point away.
Oh, how nice of him.
Yeah, I know.
I took my point away.
Yeah, you did. In your mind.
Did it really matter?
Did it really matter?
I did so terrible.
What a great game. I'm excited to like finish it.
I just feel glad knowing that I was the first one on record to win that game.
Really? Do you have your trophy to prove
where's
it?
your trophy at, stupid? I know where mine is.
I guess it didn't happen then, huh?
It is on the thumbnail.
Anyways, we have Spiral from 2021, just a few weeks ago, ranked 8 out of 9 on our Saw ranking. And just to hit it real quick, our official ranking from worst to best, 7, the final chapter in 3D. Spiral.
In 2D.
5, also 2D. Jigsaw, which looks nice and has a different look to it.
Definitely.
4, 6, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
That's confusing.
Really clean at the top.
Yeah. Not a lot jumping around or moving around up there. So yeah, Spiral. I mean, we talked about it in our review, of course. I gotta say, it's cool that it's trying to do something different.
It should have been something else, though.
And you know what? I honestly feel like we hit most of this. Like, our CLE covered almost all the bases.
I think...
Guys, I think we're getting really good at this.
Because Frank had the Hemingway, like, why don't you tell us? Because you had the least amount of time to
yeah, so I pretty much, I think my Hemingway, was the subpar stand-up. That was my biggest problem, honestly. I think I, like, angrily exclaimed outside the theater, why were there so many people laughing in a Saw movie? I was really not okay with that. That really upset me.
Why were so many people laughing at these jokes that aren't funny?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Chris Rock's comedy is not great to begin with, and then you're force-feeding it into this movie. His angry cop face is one of the worst angry cop faces I've ever seen. And Chris Rock thinks he's Denzel riding around in that muscle car. He thinks he's Denzel on Training Day. You are no Denzel, Chris Rock. You will never be Denzel.
It's almost like when Apple like force fed you U2 onto your iTunes music. You know what I mean?
Similar anger.
Yeah, I could definitely feel that. Maybe not as upset as the U2 thing.
The U2 thing still happens. You know what I mean? It still affects us.
It was pretty forceful. I'll say that. I had no consent in this.
Yeah, one of my coworkers asked me the next day because I was trying to leave work a little bit early to make sure I got to the movie on time. So like they knew what I was going to watch. So the next day they were like, "So how was it?" And I was like, "It was not very good. It was not a good movie."
It's like I wish I would have seen something else on my return to theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had a laugh, like I had an audible guffaw at the end. I'm pretty sure, because I hated the ending so much,
Dude,
and because it was so unintentionally hilarious that I literally like audibly guffawed, and my fiance Raven like hit me. She was like, "What are you laughing so loud for?" And I was just like, "It was so bad."
It's amazing how bad it gets at the end. Max Minghella from Handmaid's Tale, who's really the baddie all along. You would have never guessed it unless you were
paying attention and you have a working brain, and halfway through you were like, "This is kid."
It's obviously this guy.
And because of his laughable off-screen death that you were just supposed to believe.
Oh yes, we can't see him, but he's definitely dead. Oh sure,
because that's how Saw works.
Yeah, that's how Saw works. You're not going to show me the death. Okay, fine. Let's move on then, I guess. He literally is like revealing to Chris Rock what's happening, and then as the SWAT team is already in the room, already guns up, he's just like cackling in the elevator, like slamming the door. I'm pretty sure I heard him go, "Game over," and then he slams that door. It's so ridiculous, dude. There's no way that guy would get out of that room. There's no way.
Just the fact that every time they show Max Minghella, like, it doesn't deep dive into him at all. He always talks about his fiance. He always talks about his baby. You never see it on screen. You never see anything.
Show me the baby. Show me the proof.
Let's see this baby.
Get Samuel L. Jackson doing his Samuel L. Jackson thing. It's pretty
he's doing good, yeah.
I can imagine the phone call. Like Chris Rock calling Samuel L. Jackson being like, "Hey, I need to cast somebody. How'd you feel about spending
Sammy?
How'd you feel about spending 3 weeks in Chicago or whatever, and we'll pay you this much money?" And Samuel Jackson being like,
"Can I have a purple lightsaber?"
Yeah.
I think the more angering thing is that you showed us afterwards, like, about how the first scene in the movie, the cold open, if you will, is just like a total like afterthought. And it was from Chris Rock?
Yeah, so the beginning of this movie, if you haven't seen Spiral yet, it starts off with Chris Rock, who is a cop, and he's like an undercover, but no one else knows.
Not officially undercover. He's gone rogue.
He's gone rogue. He's rogue undercover, and he's working with these other robbers, and they're all masked. And they're having this conversation about Forrest Gump 2, and how Forrest Gump 2 wouldn't come out today because it's not PC, which actually, fun fact, but Forrest Gump 2 was slated to happen, and they canceled it.
That's true, I heard that, yeah.
Because of 9/11.
Ooh.
They were like, the world's too sad now. We can't have Forrest Gump running around.
Well, are they going to make Forrest Gump like responsible for 9/11 when it comes back?
They were gonna have him like at the airport. You know what I mean?
He just did like an air control problem.
Like Forrest Gump starts like a flight school, and he's the one who like taught these guys how to fly.
No. I think we have a script.
Let's pitch it, man.
Okay, so. So I need to collect myself.
Sorry, America.
Enough time has passed, right?
It's a good thing we don't have more people listening, or we'd be canceled.
Hey, we were all like in 5th grade when 9/11 happened, so our world was shaped a little bit different. We were expected to joke about things.
Quick thought about what you were saying, though. Like, okay, so if Chris Rock is like,
I thought you were going to say Forrest Gump 2.
No, not about that. We're done with that.
Okay.
We're not still workshopping Forrest Gump 2.
If Chris Rock, the character in there, Detective Banks or whatever, is as A, notorious, and B, as good a cop as they make him out to be, wouldn't these like seasoned criminals know him, especially because he's like the police chief's son?
Yeah, you would think in a movie universe for sure. Like you imagine, because the other thing too is the beginning's a big Reservoir Dogs reference.
Right.
But it's like in Reservoir Dogs, if that kid was the son, if Mr. Orange was the son of the police chief,
exactly,
they would know who that guy is.
Right?
Yeah. Like Lawrence Tierney would be like, oh, this guy's a traitor. Yes. And then they'd kill him right then, and there'd be no movie. It'd be really weird. But yeah, anyways, back to this thing. Chris Rock was like, apparently there was an opening scene written, and then Chris Rock was just like, nah, I kind of want to do like a Reservoir Dogs thing. And then just kind of like put this scene in the movie.
And you know what? I bet the other one would have been better.
I bet it would have been. And it's like
completely inconsequential to the entire movie.
You can feel it when you're watching the movie where it's like, okay, Chris wanted to riff for 5 minutes here. And then it's like, okay, great.
And Darren Lynn Bousman was just snorting coke and like, yeah, whatever.
I can't believe I'm back.
Chris.
Where's craft services?
And then that like makes me angry because the whole reason this thing took off too is because Chris Rock wanted to produce and bring back Saw, or had an idea for it.
A big Saw fan apparently, and
so why would you do something like that, Chris? If you enjoy this series so much, why would you poo-poo all over it?
Well, because he enjoys himself a lot more.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. Like, it could have been there.
Just go make grown-up movies with Adam Sandler and leave everybody else alone.
I'm really upset. I'm
Go
really
be
upset.
a zebra.
Do I have anything else in here? I'm not even on these.
I think for like the casual moviegoer, Spiral will be fine. It'll be a fine Saw movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry. I have something in my notes. I must have got switched up. One of my notes says, flashback to 3, Hoffy and Amanda set up the rack. That definitely didn't happen in this movie. Like, I must have just been like clicking around and gotten the wrong place.
That seems like a good place for a note.
You know what? On the positive, some pretty good kills.
Yeah.
There's some nice traps. I have the tongue train trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was excited about the triple iteration. The Chinese finger trap in electric water.
Yeah.
Where his fingers are caught. They're getting ripped off.
But you don't see him die. You just see the after effect.
Yeah. We have the spinal cord or wax to the face. I don't know if you guys remember this.
I don't remember.
That was
was
the new police chief. Right?
Yeah, you had to like stab yourself onto this thing and sever your
It's like a
spinal
razor
cord.
blade.
Or get this hot stuff poured to your face. And they even peel it off a little bit.
so weird. I don't remember that at all.
It was like
I must have been really into my buffalo cauliflower.
She gets trapped. She gets led down to that basement. Remember?
To the evidence room.
The evidence room.
It's the female police chief.
Yeah.
Nope.
She's kind of sassy.
No.
We have the
Nothing.
glass bottle trap.
Oh, that one was okay.
Which one's this?
This is the one where I don't know who was up on the thing. You know, he's trying to rescue someone who is like tied up, and there's like a glass bottle compactor that's
And is shooting it out like a
That's
machine
cool.
gun or something.
Yeah.
that is pretty cool.
it's cool.
Well,
But it
more
wasn't
like a God, what are those old shotgun muskets called? A blunderbuss.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
blunderbuss,
yeah.
like a pirate.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we have Samuel L. Bloodloss.
which is arguably the lamest.
It's lame trap. How is Samuel L. Jackson going out like this?
I thought he would have wanted the best.
He loves getting murdered.
yeah.
That's silly. You know, at this point, let's just stop.
Yeah. What else?
Well, I
can
mean,
you
we're
say?
still pretty fresh, but I feel like gotta hit those numbers.
Yeah,
really
what's the
quick.
numbers here?
5.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
Fair.
I guess. 37% on Rotten Tomatoes with its 93-minute
I agree with
runtime.
that.
It's got a $40 million budget. Obviously, worldwide gross is going to be a little bit skewed at this point, but opening weekend of $8,750,034. You got to count those $34 on such a low return like that. Count every penny.
Is that due to the pandemic?
I mean, assumedly, some of it is.
could.
You
It
know,
could be.
Yeah.
worldwide gross as of this morning, because IMDb updates their numbers overnight, $22,593,020.
Yikes, and it's been out for about 3 weeks now.
Well, you know what else too? I just feel like I talked to several people about watching this movie, and usually the response was, "There's a new Saw movie." Like, people did not know this movie was coming out, or for somehow the name wasn't clear enough.
Yeah.
Because it was like Spiral from the Book of Saw. You would think, yeah, it's a Saw movie, but I don't know. The word did not get out.
No, and it is a very lame subtitle.
Yes. And then also, word of mouth has killed this. There's no one out there giving rave reviews except for, maybe I shouldn't be trash talking someone who's just way bigger than us. No, wait, that's okay.
Who? Do
we
it.
can trash
Punch
talk
up.
people way bigger than us.
You shouldn't punch down.
Man,
punch
okay,
up.
so
Go for it.
I'm a fan of Dead Meat. You know what I mean?
Jeremy
I
Jeffrey.
enjoy no, not that guy.
James
okay.
A. Janice.
James A. Janice, the other double
yeah,
J's.
yeah.
I enjoy his channel, and they put out this video like right when Spiral came out. They even say at the beginning, like, this is a paid video. But they're just like raving about the movie, about how good it is, and like, if you're a big Saw fan, you're really gonna enjoy this one. And I was like,
You're better than that, JJ.
come on, man. You don't need to be doing these. Like, I don't believe that you think this is a good movie. It seems disingenuous.
Well, those they had the right grease for the gear ratio, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I can't recommend this movie whatsoever.
No, I would recommend it to no one.
I would recommend it if it's free and you're doing your own Saw movie ranking.
If we do Guantanamo Bay 2, you can play this for the prisoners.
Hey, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Commit crimes against humanity.
And on that note,
So, due to the incredible amount of content we have on this podcast, we're going to forego our "Oh, that's interesting." We'll hit you back on this next one.
beautiful.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful sequence of events.
Got it.
So we're going to head into Peeps and predicts.
Everybody's favorite moment of every other week.
Yes. We just added to the end of CLE.
For those who don't know, Peeps and Predicts is the imaginary situation that we put two peeps or people into in a certain predict and find the winner.
It was like coining a phrase, but like a chocolate coin, and that it held no value.
Yeah, exactly.
What is it? Dr. Megorium's Imaginatory
Emporium. So who should choose? Me?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and get us our peeps? Who are we peeping today? Who are we peeping at?
All right, gents. Today our peeps are Tiger Woods versus Jeffrey Owens, fake tiger on Always Sunny.
Wow.
Now that's a reference.
This is a weird
Sandra's husband on The Cosby Show.
Wow, this is a deep reference. Okay.
I'm not sure I'm familiar with, but
Well, I'll kick it off if that's okay, because I feel like mine's very applicable. Who has a better chance of escaping a jigsaw trap? And I will say this, that guy doesn't seem like he's particularly in shape, at least from what I've seen on Sunny. I'm basing everything I know off that one episode of It's Always Sunny.
You know what? He doesn't look that in shape in The Cosby Show either. He's like a nerd.
I was also going to say Tiger Woods basically did just escape a death trap of his own doings.
I was going to say, yeah, like he definitely...
And he escaped his wife trying to beat him with that golf club.
That's what I'm talking about. We know that he can get himself out of a situation.
He's a survivor.
He is.
Yeah, I got to give it to him. He's got the reach too. He'd be able to like reach things a little bit better.
He's got to be somewhat coordinated. You know what I mean? I know it's just golf, but
the real tiger. The real tiger?
Will the real tiger please? It's gonna be embarrassing if the fake tiger wins one of these.
Yeah, that would be really weird.
Okay, simple.
Yeah, that was easy.
So I think this one's a shoe-in for a real tiger as well. Who is more likely to overcome their fear and find their true purpose? And in parentheses is Shyamalan style.
Oh, okay.
Now, can we include an actual tiger just for fun?
Sure. So, actual Tiger Woods versus fake Tiger Woods versus a real
Actual tiger
in the woods.
in the woods.
Oh my. Now we're cooking with
What's
gas.
going to happen? No, well, seriousness.
Well, tigers have no fear, so disqualified.
This has to be...
The real tiger, right?
Yeah, this has to be Tiger Woods.
I feel like he's
He
escaped.
was able to excel himself to the level of a professional athlete.
Yeah.
This guy can overcome his fears.
That's almost
He overcame his fear of
getting caught by his wife.
Drowning in a beautiful white blonde woman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's able to move past that.
Escaped a flaming vehicle that he arguably was probably drunk driving.
Wow. I love this show. Okay, for sure it's
Real tiger.
It's got to be real tiger.
Real Tiger Woods, not real
Woods.
Tiger in the woods.
Real tiger
just to
in the
be
woods.
clear.
Real Tiger Woods. Yes.
Sorry, real tiger in the woods.
All right. Well, that takes us over to the final round where it is...
Does anybody know who our reigning champ is? If you know who our reigning champ is, send us an
It
email.
was not Alice. It just beat out Alice, and I think it's
who
Lex
just beat-
Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Thank you. Okay. So Lex Luthor against Tiger Woods in what's got to be one of our strangest pairings, like most unrelated ever. And our final event is who would make a better game show host?
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I'd watch Tiger Woods host a game show, to be honest.
Although, like, Lex Luthor is very smart, I don't think he's very congenial.
Also, I just feel like none of us are Superman fans.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about Lex Luthor?
Not me.
He could probably host Jeopardy, but you got to have some charm to host Jeopardy. You
Lex
know what I
Luthor
mean?
has no charm. He's
charm.
just...
Dude,
and he doesn't
I'll watch
care
Tiger
about-
Woods host The Price is Right. I'll watch him host
Yeah.
Family Feud because he's got experience there.
I'll watch him host Cheaters.
Yeah, also experience.
Yeah.
I watch Tiger Woods get stabbed on a boat any day.
Yeah, man. It'd be a great episode.
Yeah, and if we're going off of like the Jesse Eisenberg portrayal of Lex Luthor, like hell no.
Yeah,
That'd be
maybe if you're talking about what's his face, the original from the first movie.
Yeah.
Royal Tenenbaum.
Oh, Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. Yeah, then
That's some charm.
I could go for that.
Yeah.
But Smallville, no way.
No.
So I think that outweighs it. I think this has to be
Tiger, although it'd be a very controversial host of any family show.
Tiger uppercut. Yeah.
The most prestigious award awarded to Tiger Woods in his career so far. Champion of Peeps and Predicts.
I'm glad we could...
Uninformed Movie Reviews.
We could give him something.
Yeah. He's a peep that finds himself in plenty predicts.
True.
Indeed.
He was made for this.
He was. All right, well, that was fun, I guess.
Parts of it were fun, much like the Saw franchise, and parts of it felt a little cumbersome.
Towards the end of our list, I was like, this is like I'm in a Saw movie now.
Yeah. We found our way out.
I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. There's twists and turns.
We have a new appreciation of watching and life and watching good movies now.
Yeah, I'm not going to look at another movie the same for quite a while.
Like, share, subscribe.
Game over.
Bum.